This tournament was sponsored by Insights, a platform for gamers to learn and teach at the comfort of their own PC. Get your account today.
We welcome you back to the Monkey Bubble European Invitational. It is Labasco and Beatdown Boulevard here with you. Beat, it's been a little bit. Good to see you again. We have a great lower bracket finals that we're about to get ready for.
It has been a while, but I can't have asked for a better match. This is going to be the deciding.
This tournament was sponsored by
with Ex Oblivione in the grand finals following after this. Is it going to be Astra, who just lost to them, or Indignation, who's been making their run through losers back? And that's what we're going to be here to see.
Indignation wanted this matchup as well, Beat. When we interviewed them yesterday, we asked, who do you want to see between the two teams that are left? They wanted to see Astra because Astra is who beat them in the winner's bracket in order to send them down to losers. It was a 3-2 win for Astra there. So it was a really tight game for that one. We expect the same here, Beat, as we are now in the lower bracket grand finals to get somebody to the grand finals.
Yeah, really interesting. Indignation wants to redeem themselves here and beat Astra before making their way to the grand final. So now we're going over to our first map, Lijiang Tower.
So tell me about Lijiang Tower in the current meta. Well, we're going to get a quick pause, it looks like.
That's fine. Plenty of time to talk about the current meta.
Yes.
So, especially here on Control Center, sometimes people still want to stick to the old ways of running Mei, but mostly it's a lot of Reaper Doomfist just because of how strong that comp is here and how running the Pharah Doom doesn't really make any sense. I'm fairly confident that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder with the skybox here, right?
It is, because unless the Pharah is outside consistently, in which case there are so many ways. There's so many ways you can avoid that, and then just run onto the rest of the team and take a 4v6.
So looks like we're going. Well, they're showing us something different right now for the tanks, but obviously
haven't walked out of spawn.
Yeah, haven't walked out of spawn yet, so don't trust anything, right?
No, that's right. You can't trust teams. They live solely to mess with us. Labasco, you know this.
Yes, I know. At Astra, by the way, the team in the blue, you should see their name at the top, and in the red is Indignation, so that way you know who is who, if you don't already, and we do, of course, have the Sombra used, and we are going to see Tap on the Junkrat, so we are going to see a little bit of variation for both of these teams. We also have Reinhardt and Zarya coming out from Ad Astra.
Wow, this is a lot to take in, and more different than I was expecting. The Ryan Zarya here is going to have a lot of trouble, especially against the Junkrats. Offers a lot of shield break. Still, they're really banking on Chico and Lanu here on this Reaper Doofus to get value for them.
Oh, but Eden is taken out right at the beginning thanks to the charge coming through from White Noise. White Noise losing his life as well. Nice little mine coming through from Tap. Chico, though, still able to rocket punch his way through, too. So this is still a pretty even matchup as well. And now it's finally starting to swing over to the side of Ad Astra, at least for the moment. Rayan is trying to deal with that Orisa on the point. Coalescence coming out for Ad Astra, and they're finally starting to force their way onto the point and build up on it. 5% they're at already.
And here's the thing, that charge onto Eden was so good, getting the Reaper out of the way, and because Tap wasn't playing Doomfist himself, it was what allowed Aspera to actually overcome them in the end here. So now, Rayon on the high charge Zarya, wow, I haven't seen that in a while, probably looking to get at Graviton Surge as quickly as possible.
About at 80%, so very close to it. Riptire out here as well, looking for was Ryan, hasn't found it just yet. Didn't even see it coming from Tap, so the Zarya being out first is huge, and now this is the opportunity that's needed for Indignation to push their way back onto this point. Trying to stay alive, not going to be able to do so. Chico can't be the hero. Doomfist this time. It looks like Eden taking out his counterpart, and Lina falling as well. This will be the flip back over to Indignation, but you're about to 50% here for Ad Astra.
Yeah, not a bad start here for Ad Astra at all. Now White Noise has made the swap onto the Orisa with Rayon. Probably wants to keep this Graviton Surge, is very likely why he's still on the Zarya. Hopefully can turn this into a fight win, but this is not really a good tank combination, so hopefully after that Rayon makes the swap.
So now you have the Graviton Surge coming out, quickly falling 2 from it. The Death Blossom in response, not enough from Eden, is only able to get the Lucio out. This is going to be a quick flip right back over to Astra.
Yeah, Graviton Surge getting a lot of value, while also getting a lot out of Indignation. They committed so much to a fight they ended up losing, so this is actually a bit of a rough spot for them. Their only hope is going to be in Alex 2704's Gravitic Flux, and can they get the value out of it despite the sound barrier online? That's what I'm looking towards right now. Now we see Tap also made the swap onto the Doomfist, had enough of this Junkrat, realized it's not working.
Lino coming in first with the Death Blossom. Goodbye, Cloud. Uppercut to take him down by Tap. Chico coming back in, though, to get the Doomfist out for Indignation. So, Astra staying in front again. 80%. We're in last fight territory, Beat.
We are. The point is now Rayon's probably not going to be making the swap. It's so high energy, and this is the last chance here for Indignation to get themselves onto the point, but unfortunately they're getting forced back.
Still having their chance to try and come in, though, is Indignation. This is their last opportunity. Uppercut into White Noise. Chico coming back and taking Tap down. He's been finding Tap on this Doomfist so many times and giving them that Doomfist advantage. But Eden evening things back up. Chico getting himself a kill onto their Oresis. So no Oresis in this fight, but you still have Sigma up for Indignation. This could help make a difference in this fight for the team that's trying to get this overtime meter to go away by taking this point back over. That's exactly what they're starting to do. Lineage is desperately using that Biotic Grass to try and stay in this one for the side of Astra. The overtime's still going. Coalescence build up in this. They are committing hardcore to this, throwing the supercharger down too. And now it's the Death Blossom by Eden to help finally flip this over for the side of Indignation.
Yeah, and here's the problem here. Lena did not need to commit that ultimate. They had an opportunity to just re-engage with the Graviton Surge, with the Meteor Strike. So many combos not usually available in this meta were available to Astra. So in this particular situation, holding their ultimates probably would have been better. Now, Astra, a lot of ults going into the next fight. Still.
Indignation, though, has quite a few, too, is the good thing. Meteor Strike coming out, sound barrier used almost immediately. Ryan still committed to using that Zarya. We'll see if that, oh, the Meteor Strike with Tap is huge! It's massive!
The 5K from Tap, just knocking Astra back into the spawn room. And after they committed so many ultimates too, finally Rayon makes the swap onto the Sigma. But it might be too little too late, LaFosco. They still have to get through this choke.
Exactly, Rayon now not have any ult percentage. Now, luckily, neither does Alex. He did combine that to make that massive Meteor Strike come through, is what it looked like. Chico coming in with the Rocket Punch at the beginning. The use of the Death Blossom as well, forcing back Indignation. Chico looking for another. Tap, though, takes him out. This is his opportunity. Tap another with the Rocket Punch coming through. And now there's only a few players left alive for the side of Astra. Lino falling as well. Eden coming back into this fight on that Reaper. Very close to his Death Blossom. Might not even need it.
Amazing. Tap really starting to fire up here on this first round here. Getting so much damage. So many kills off on this Doomfist. Super clutch of him, to be honest with you.
Very, very clutch, without a doubt. This has been really already a very back and forth game, Beat, and we've just played one map, one point on one map.
That's right. We're already kind of seeing how this team could have gone 3-2 earlier on in the winners bracket in this tournament. Taking each of these rounds to the utmost distance it could go to really just shows how evenly matched these teams are.
You talked about Farah earlier, Beat. Now we get to see it here, too. Tap is going to be the one on that for the side of Indignation. At Astra, they're going tried and true. They're not playing any Zarya, Reinhardt like they did last time.
No, so now this map, like I mentioned before, like you talked about before, the skybox on here in Lijiang Nightmark is way better, but Tap needs to get value very quickly because as he's playing the Pharah, there is no front line pressure for the rest of his team.
Has to be careful here. They do still have Eden, though, on the Doomfist. That's the one thing that they have with the fact that Tap or Eden both can play the Doomfist to a fairly high level. Nice uppercut in. White Noise is down. No Orisa usually spells your fight lost, especially if Eden can get the Reaper here, which he does in Lino. And now Rocket punches his way through Rand, and now this is looking perfect for the side of Indignation.
Amazing that you can have two clutch Doom players on this. So useful here for Indignation, and so smart of them to play that slow passive game, because they know they can't just take a head-to-head fight with Astra because they have the Pharah and lack the Reaper, and in doing so they gave just enough time for Eden to get that opening pick, and now both DPS coming up to their ults here. It's not a bad start.
Patience, a good way to describe Indignation for sure, Beat. They are a team that we've seen in the last few matches that they played in really read their opponents well. They've been doing that so far with pretty good effect on this map of Lijiang Tower. Rayan coming in with the rest of his team. Rocket Barrage behind. The shield goes up and helps take Tap down. And now the nice take back looks like it's coming for the side of Astra, just using their ultimates really well. There are some ultimates, though, still available for Indignation. They're not going to commit them here.
Astra doing really well to respond to Tap's Rocket Barrage, denying all of its value. And now, upon doing so, didn't have to use too much into this next fight. Still, they have the Meteor Strike and the Sound Barrier. Those are going to be really key ultimates, as we're going to see Alex very likely use the Graphitic Flux going forward. But it would be best if Indignation could deny the value of these, because a lot of ults are still online for Astra. They have a lot to work with here.
Something they didn't have last time, which allowed for the massive Meteor Strike, was that Sound Barrier, as you said, Beat. So the Sound Barrier will be something to pay attention to as the ultimates start to fly into Supercharger. Coalescent out first. Now the Meteor Strike coming from Eden as well. Doesn't get anybody pulled back into him, but he's able to stay alive through it is the good thing. Tap still shooting down from above. About to get another Rocket Barrage and finds the first elimination in Lino. Gravitic Flux up into the air, throwing the players down. Rayan gets stunned with the accretion, and he is down. But two players falling in Sucrux and Eden. You lost the Doomfist. Get him rezzed back in. Is it enough? The barrage helping get this through. Chico trying to run away, and now they can take the point back, it looks like, for the side of Indignation. Just have to be careful. Oh, the rocket punch from Eden, so good. Slams back down into the ground and helps take out Line of Cloud, getting in with that Mercy Blaster.
But Indignation had to spend everything to capture this point, and now Tap making the swap onto the Reaper has to start from ground zero with these ults, with his Death Blossom. So now this next fight is going to be really difficult for them, as they don't have a response for Rayon's Gravitic Flux that we're about to see. They have to play this really smart, deny the angles and deny the follow-up.
Well, Chico comes in and gets the Rocket Punch in onto Tap at the beginning, so you're already down the Reaper, and now you have another Rocket Punch followed by Death Blossom. Perfect turn for the side of Astra to get this right back in their favor.
And the immediate flux, just basically by slapping Indignation with their, is what allowed them to recap the point here while still maintaining their Meteor Strike. So next, okay, those swaps really confused me for a second, but no, Indignation just swapping around so that Tap can go on to that Doomfist. Really good from what we've seen before here too. And they don't even know that Chico's up above there. Oh, they notice him.
The ult economy. Oh, Tap already got Lino!
Huge.
Meteor Strike coming through. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to find much, though. And Chico gets obliterated as soon as he hits the ground. Tap was ready for him. The Coalescence might be too little too late. Have to get to the point, though, if you're the side of Indignation. Already 97% for the side of Astra. They do have to give it up. 80%. We're in last fight territory.
I think Chico got a little too big for his britches there with that Meteor Strike, going right into the middle of the enemy team. There was no way he was going to get out of there with his life, but now Astra rushing to get to the point. This is their last opportunity. All they have is the Supercharger.
No ultimates really on either side except for the Superchargers. White Noise already put down his, and now you have Shade putting his down. Usually get a little bit more value when you have a team having to force their way in, and it's working to perfection. Everybody falling on the side of Astra. Indignation coming through in this overtime with no issues. Meteor Strike just to make sure no one can get back. Beautiful from Indignation to win this first map of Lijiang Tower 2-0.
Tap is incredible on this Doomfist. A second You see, the second he makes that swap back onto the character, he gets that instant value. He's so good at keeping track of the enemy DPS players and is consistently shutting them down.
It was a halt. It was a halt that pulled everybody in on this play of the game, too. That was awesome. I thought it was maybe the Gravitic Flux, but no, it was the halt. Shade and the awesome Doomfist we've seen already from Tap, they combine really well with some of these ultimates beat, and that's exactly what we saw there for that play of the game that made us go nuts. And Indignation sort of continuing where they left off from yesterday at Astra again, though. This is only map 1, and it wasn't sure, it was 2-0 beat, but it was not an easy map.
No, it absolutely wasn't. I know people say that a lot, but we really mean it this time. This was as close as a map can get. And I'm glad you brought up the halt, Labosco, because this is what I was talking about in the last game meta. It's all about how well you use your halts. You have to combine them with your ultimates. That's how you get the most amount of value. We saw it right there. The halt Meteor Strike. Sometimes the halt Gravitic Flux. There's just so much you can do with this ultimate, and your ability to do so says a lot about you as a team in this meta.
The one thing too from Indignation when we talked yesterday with them was they said that one of the things that about them as a team is they're very new together. Like, they are a very new team. This tournament has been a great opportunity for them to build synergy, and it seems like we're continuing to see that as we go along. So it's really cool to kind of see that come from a team. We do have a swap coming through for the side of Ad Astra as well. A&J is coming into the game. I believe that A&J wasn't there for the first map, but they've got A&J back. Could be an important swap that comes through for them, getting one of their main players back in.
A&J didn't even play in the last match, actually, but I'm very curious to see what he's bringing to the table versus his other support counterpart.
Will be really interesting to see. We have had the team switch sides for those who may be wondering. So now you're going to have Ad Astra attacking first. Defending first will be Indignation. And we go to Numbani. And this is a map that the last the last 2 days or so that I've seen of Indignation, this has been a map that they've had a little bit of struggles with. So, and we've also seen a lot of Bastion get used here on this map. And really, to no surprise, I guess both teams are going to use Bastion.
Yeah, surprising nobody. Our little Omnic buddy is here with his bird friend. So now, as you say, if it's true that Indignation suffers on this map, it might be because they are not really good with the Bastion play or dealing with the Bastion. And I think that's going to be a problem for them here, B2, because you see from the last match, what I see is that Ad Astra is quite good on the Bastion. They're pretty comfortable there. Lanu is pretty nuts on the hero.
It was always a close map. It wasn't... Do not underrate the Bastion of Eden, because Eden is nuts on anything hit scan or anything that can shoot like a Bastion too. So don't underestimate this man from Indignation, but I'm really curious. Leno is a player that we've seen throughout, a very, veteran player and also very good player. So to see these two on the Bastions should be a good matchup, but Tap just takes out Chico at the beginning.
You gotta be kidding me.
The res has to come through so early. BDO, oh, he almost got another one.
Oh my god. Tap. I'm literally without words. That is insane. The aim this guy has with the right click, forcing the res, and now what a huge ice separate Lanu, the Bastion, from the rest of his team.
Use of the wall is so important for the Mei. Staggered out here now. And of course, what's Tap going to do? Kind of wait and see. Hey, I hit a couple of ice blocks already. But wisely coming back, though, to make sure that their player can get through is Ad Astra. Got that Sigma barrier that allows for those icicles to not get in and get on any heads.
Yeah, that's really gotta bug you. Like, from that distance, someone not missing. So gotta make sure players don't really get any tilt. Wow, again, a very well-timed wall, but a very well-placed immortality field as well by Lena.
Already have use of the amplification matrix. Lino gets killed again. Another nice ice wall coming out from Tap. Shade throwing down another barrier to make sure that you have Eden be kept alive. So ice walls, I mean, they're so easy to put down, and Tap is just timing them perfectly. And now they have their amplification matrix that they can go ahead and shoot in. Have to wait, of course, for that immortality field to go down. And now you have the ice wall trying to block them up. Not working out too well.
maybe hoping to block the line of sight of Immortality Field, but to no avail. Oh, Eden!
Goes down here. Leno gets Sucrux as well. So now you're down one of your main supports. You only have Cloud, who has to try and keep everybody else up and alive while they wait for the rest of their team to sort of come, well, at least for their other support to come back. Blizzard thrown on the point. I think there's only 1 or 2 players there. Immortality Field actually didn't work because of the ice wall.
Oh, line of sight, so important, Lebosco, and really good thinking from Tap there to just instantly throw down the Blizzard. As he can get the numbers advantage in favor of his team.
Only thing is, though, is they still haven't been able to get this Bastion off of the high ground. They have rotated down to that little room on the side. Ice wall will block off some players, but it's not enough to get Leno down. He's in the Immortality Field, gonna go into tank mode, and now it's like shooting fish in a barrel. If you can get through those barriers, he's finally able to shoot in there, but they're hiding just enough where it's just splash damage that they're taking. Tank mode now countering on the other side. Too many barriers in the way, and Eden will lose his life instead. This is a wild battle. This is only the second fight, and it's been like 3 minutes almost.
Yeah, amazing. And now Tap actually going down is so big. Chico is going to come out with the Blizzard. Probably put a nail in the coffin here.
It's massive. It's just everybody just going through. The Blizzard was perfect. You're in that little room. There's nothing you can do. But they have lost so much time, though, is the one thing for Astra.
Without a doubt. Props to Indignation to at least get this much time off of the bank here. So now 3 minutes already, and I'm sure there's more stall to come. Indignation keeping, or rather, sorry, Astra keeping this composition, not going to do any changes, but we're going to see the May Reaper come out from Indignation. Realize they can't play this Bastion game anymore. They need to set themselves up with the walls, with the architecture in this area of Nimbani, and get close enough to keep Lenu off the payload. Yeah,
Leno is somebody who we've already seen can do a lot of damage on the Bastion, already doing so again for Astra in that recon mode, back into the turret, and just trying to find himself a good position. It's weird, the teams have swapped location. Gravitic Flux coming out, Alex dies. He did get it off, though it looked like at the very least is the good thing, but his team is falling all around him. Blizzard committed here, though, and it looks like they're going to be able to clean up.
Think so. Repositioning.
Huge play there. Huge defense for Indignation. And now Astra probably at odds with themselves. Do we keep the Bastion because we have the ult, or do we swap off? Because it's so hard to get the Bastion set up after getting pushed off the payload like that.
So now Eden behind, has to be careful. He's got the team focusing on him. He's going to have to wreath back away, try and get in that coalescence. He's able to sap some health from some players as well. Tab coming in on the side, and now this Bastion is starting to become a detriment. Blizzard gets used here, though, and it gets so many, and White Noise able to clean up with the help of Chico.
Actually, very big here for the side of Astra, because now the fight and kept their Bastion, he is now able to set himself up back on the payload. So this suddenly got a lot more difficult for Indignation, Lebosco. Now, all they have is the Death Blossom, and they need Lenu off the cart now.
Well, the nice thing is that they are repositioning to the high ground, so they won't have as many players on, so the cart's going to move a little slower, allowing them to get it back just a little bit quicker, or a little bit sooner for Indignation to when that cart goes. But the high ground, with the use of this window, might be enough to get them this point, is the good thing. Oh, but the ice block by Tap will stop it at least for the moment, but Shade already down almost immediately. Lina getting blocked off, and the Death Blossom coming through. 2 players are low so far, but it's not enough to get them down is the only problem. This is looking pretty good to get this point for the side of Astra.
And the beauty of that high ground position, yeah, the cart moves slower, but now it's so much harder for Indignation to get up onto the high ground and shut down Lenu on this Bastion. Yeah, sure, Reaper can teleport, but that's really about it. You're really going to make everybody go up the stairs and around. At that point, you lose the point anyway. So it was such a difficult position to be in.
2 ultimates up on their side as well for Astra. Only the Colt, well, about to get the Blizzard too. Gravitic Flux coming out here early on, and it's already paying dividends for Ray, and Alex is close to his as well. But as of right now, not much that needs to be invested in to keep this cart going for Astra as they push on towards that final corner.
And now Shade is seeming to go down early a lot in these fights. It seems like he needs to be the focus of a little bit more healing and probably shield there from Alex, because the Bastion means he can tread shield so quickly. Indignation as a whole needs to be more careful about, keeping their main tank up.
Bastion coming out again, and Leno in a perfect position. Have the Reaper finally get on, but they've already lost Shade. The Blizzard, though, helping, have to get rid of the Immortality field, and they're not able to. And Eden gets destroyed, shredded by the Bastion in Leno, and they will be able to push through all the way. 33 seconds for their time bank for the side of Astra. So a lot of time was taken off thanks to that initial defense, but once they started getting on the cart, they snowballed it and really were able to push all the way through and finish with time for Astra. That's pretty good when you consider how close they were to losing on that first point.
And not only that, they guarantee themselves another attack round if we go into time bank rounds here. So definitely considering the first round, that first point hold rather, that's pretty good. You definitely take those. So now Indignation probably not feeling so great after such a strong point A hold, and all of a sudden they just very slowly it all started to fall apart, and they could not keep Astra's Bastion off of the payload. So now they have to ask themselves, how are they going to be going through this attack? Are they going to try and do the same thing? And if so, they do need to play it the way Astra did. Make use of the high ground. Try to make sure you don't lose your positioning, because if you get forced off the cart, again, really hard for you to stay.
We saw them have such a good defense on this first point. The question will be, can they have a better attack than what we saw come out from the side of Astra? And the Bastion looks like what we're going to see from both of these teams. They don't appear to be hiding anything from us, Pete.
No, probably not. No real surprises here from either side. So now, yeah, I'm actually surprised. Indignation doesn't even want to, they don't even want to meme with us in the spawn Labosco. They're just serious.
This is business. This is all about getting better. I love it. It's been great. We get a nice little look of Numbani here as we go through, so I'm cool with it. A little bit of use to that speed boost by Cloud to get everybody out just that little bit faster. Switches right back over to the Mercy. They look like they're going to scout down main first here. At least Alex is. See where they are. Sees that it's a Bastion, and now this song and dance with the Bastions is going to start.
That's right, and it's going to be on Indignation to be able to set themselves up quickly in a just so they can get the damage in. Oh, no.
Already down is Leno, so now they can reposition themselves. Oh, Eden got pulled in front by the halt. He's able to stay alive, though. Good Immortality field. Immortality fields out on either side, and now it's just about tearing through these barriers for the Bastions and not getting caught by the May walls. That is now for Eden, so they're okay there. Those are the only losses. Cloud, though, goes down. That could be the loss that spells disaster for the side of Indignation, and that appears to be what it is.
And such a great opening pick, too, from Indignation. Moving fast and hard, taking... But they couldn't keep that momentum, and now, well, Astra for Aspera are holding themselves nice and strong here on to this high ground, not feeling any pressure at the moment. And very likely we're going to see the Amplification Matrix come out here from Lena, who has it online.
See if they continue to try attacking this way. They throw their barriers down. The wall goes up. The Bastion is dead again, but Shade is out as well. Rez coming out on either side. And now the Amplification Matrix looks like it's going to come out as well. Leno gets eaten again. Eden going down first as far as the Bastions are concerned. Trying to force players onto that point two is Tap, though, on that. May blocks himself. Oh, no! Tap didn't get onto the other side of the ice wall and died.
Oh, and again, although Lenu goes down early, the Resurrect is what's keeping him in the game, and it seems Indignation can't bring themselves to take him out a second time. So this is part of why they're struggling, because Lenu, she's just laughing right now. It's getting so much damage here, so many kills for his team, and now we're sub 2 minutes here. So there's still some ults online. Indignation do have an opportunity here. They are same approach. It's just a matter of, can they establish themselves on the point and force Astra to go down?
The alt economy is fairly even, slightly in favor of Ad Astra, at least for the moment. Amplification Matrix coming out from the side of Indignation. They get a good ice wall off, almost getting that Bastion down. Not quite able to, but now being able to tear through is Leno. And Shade falls, same with Tap. And it's another fight lost by Indignation. And this attack just not going well. They're down to 1:07.
Unfortunately, popping the Valkyrie, and unless the res can get off, actually, even then they lost Shade. So really is just going to be a wasted ultimate there. Indignation really struggling right now. This is going to be their last fight, but with some pretty strong ults online for the side of Ad Astra, it's going to be really hard for Indignation to actually get themselves on there.
They do have the Blizzard, though, which could be the great equalizer. Alex is so far away, though. The Gravitic Fluxes are not being built up by either of the Sigmas, though, and that could make the difference. Out comes that Blizzard, though. Is it going to be enough? It freezes the Bastion. Eden was down, though. Ice Wall blocking the way, and now you have tank mode coming through as well. Supercharger gets obliterated. This is not looking good for the side of Indignation, especially with that window up to shoot through, and goodbye, Eden!
Unfortunately, this might spell the end here for Indignation. Without their Bastion and soon to be their Arista, there's no way they're going to be able to take the point here, although they got 2 ticks going and a desperation amp matrix from Suprax. This is the end.
Gravitic Flux not going to get much with the help of the Immortality Field to stop any of that damage that would kill anyone. Doesn't even matter. Everybody's off the point. And the winner for this one ends up being Ad Astra. I know it says Indignation on the screen, but it is Ad Astra, I swear.
Yeah, he promises, but still, what a great defense there from Ad Astra. Really great Bastion play, a really good understanding of what they need to be doing here, what players they need to focus on. They made sure at every chance to make sure Eden was out of the fight, and Bastion is almost your entire source of damage there. If he's out, there's no way you can win that fight.
Yeah, really, really tough for sure when that happens. But at the same time, it's like you have to give credit to Leno. He was able to just kind of shoot fish in a barrel. And honestly, when they went into that little room, that sort of spelled disaster is what it felt like for them, Beat. So a really, really tough one. But it's okay. It's okay. We're going to take ourselves a little break here. And we come back, it's 1-1 is the good thing for Indignation. And Ad Astra, that has to be a big confidence booster going into this next map. We'll see how that carries on for both of these teams when we come back. We welcome you back to the European Invitational, brought to you by Monkey Bubble. It's Labasco here with you, and alongside of me, we've got Beatdown Boulevard. It's currently tied 1-1. We saw a very dominant first map from well, actually, it was more back and forth, actually, and then a very dominant defense from Astra on Nimbani. But now we're going to go to Temple of Anubis for our third map. This is a map that could be, we've seen a lot of success from Indignation so far. This is a map that a little bit harder to play the Bastion. You can still do it on first point, but you don't do it on second point, really.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot less room for Bastion play on Anubis, but we saw a full hold from the Bastion come out from Astra, so it's not out of the realm of possibility to see it again, but there are more ways to deal with it. So yeah, it's as you say, I don't think it's going to be as prominent, and I do believe Indignation have a better chance here just based on what we've seen from them earlier on in this series.
Yeah, see, I think that's a good thing to say. I mean, especially when you talk about the base meta composition, I feel like that's where Indignation's biggest strength is, and they play it so well. We've seen the halt combos that they can do. They have a lot of synergy on it, but at Astra, I wouldn't say there's slouches on it though. So what is it that needs to happen for Ad Astra to show maybe a little bit more on that base Reaper Doomfist comp that we've been seeing?
Yeah, if we're talking the meta composition, their struggles are the same as they previously in their last game against the team X Oblivion. Shoot, the name is escaping me. But the point is, in their last game, the struggle at Astra had was that they were not very good at tracking cooldowns and making approaches based on that. They kind of just walked in there like, all right, we're gonna punch here, we're gonna do. There wasn't as much calculated, there wasn't as much method to the madness as you need to have in this meta. So they ended up suffering for it, and I think that's part of why when they have to play the meta comp versus the meta comp, why Indignation comes out on top, especially with Tap on his amazing Doomfist.
Tap is a very stellar Doomfist. There's no doubt about that. Teams have switched sides again. Really not a surprise here to see that has happened. You've got the team in red being Indignation again, team in blue being Ad Astra. And they're showing us Lino is coming out on a McCree. It seems like they almost expect maybe that Pharah to be in play here, which this is a good Pharah map, at least for the first point. Second point, you can still play it a little bit too.
You can. It is pretty risky. It's not something I would definitely try, but we're going to see what's coming out on the attack. From the side of Indignation, it might just be the May Reaper. It's looking.
I wonder. I feel like they feel like for Indignation that there might be the Bastion again. That's why they go May Reaper, right?
Yeah, that's very likely. Right, so they might swap once they realize it's just the McCree Doomfist. Because again, like I said before, this McCree is really hard to find value out of against the Doom Reaper. It's so much. There's so much closing distance and in your face. It's really hard for the McCree to really get that value off.
The Sucrux.
Wow.
Sucrax is really close to losing their life there. Have to be really careful if you're Sucrax. Able to stay alive, though, at least for the moment. So they're all right. They have force back at Astra. They've got their cooldowns back for the side of Indignation. They have control of the high ground. Tab's still playing the May, at least for the moment. We'll see if Tap will continue on this or make that switch over to Doomfist eventually. So you do have a Doomfist on the other side in Chico is the one good thing. Nice use of the barrier to block the accretion. Chico punching from that left side, doesn't get anything. Now in a battle, and the Reaper's able to win it and head in. And now early advantage goes over to Indignation. So they'll have to take care of the rest of the team. Accretion Rock not getting much there, but does on the other side for Alex, and Shade finishes off the elimination. A and J just going to try and escape with his life is what it looks like here.
Indignation taking this point very quickly. He just gave up a lot of space for no reason there, Labasco. They back up onto the point in the way they had to just because of the fact that they were playing this McCree. He doesn't command any space the way the Reaper does, the Doomfist does, or the May. So just that threat of the CC isn't, or high damage output isn't there. So I think that's what the inherent flaws with this comp. So, but realizing this, Indignation not going to make any swaps. They're going to keep Tap on this May because, again, no real frontline pressure.
So you can kind of just heal up here in the side room And as soon as you have all the cooldowns that you need back, you can push your way in. You see them just poking out, at least for the moment. They are very close to a lot of ults on either side. Coalescence going to come out first. Oh, but the Hulk pulls Cloud in. That might spell the end of this push here for the side of Indignation. And they just come through. They don't even allow them to escape for Ad Astra.
A very swift and strong defense here. Now, Ad Astra finally are getting their foot in the ground. But a lot of ults are about to come online for Indignation. So this still... Ad Astra are not out of the water just yet. Probably going to see the Gravitic Flux there from Alex. Probably the first ult we're going to see. And it's ideally going to be used to set up the rest of it here. And with 4 minutes left, Indignation do a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, you can use that Gravitic Flux, get out the sound barrier, and then you have a Blizzard that's free to do... Oh, but Tap's dead! Tap's dead already at Astra. Off to a good start, and Shade, I think, just wanted to reset quicker because knew that they were going to be able to escape. Use yourself as the shield to sort of pull everybody away. Maybe everybody else is able to escape, and that's exactly what happened. So, not a bad... You don't give up too much ult there, Beat.
And it's honestly really because of Chico taking that off angle and recognizing the halt and accretion combination go out there from a team. Was able to get that opening pick on to Tap, and it's a really good way to save ultimates, as you said. And they're going to really need it in this next fight, too, because Indignation has the six-pack. They have everything, and it's going to be hard to imagine that they don't find at least some sort of point capture progress.
I hope you like pixel effects because there's about to be a ton of ultimates going off onto either side. Chico using his Meteor Strike, looking for his opportunity. Just going to go back towards his team. Not much there. Just looking for their opportunity to come forward. Is Indignation. Coalescence is how they're going to push forward. Blizzard coming out, catches a bunch in it, and 2 are dead already. Goodbye to the Lucio as well. A and J never got to use sound barrier. Massive loss of an ultimate that they didn't get to use. Now have the chance to put up the ice wall here. Block players off. 2:55 on the clock for Indignation. Beat. This is actually a disappointment of a run for them. Yesterday, in the 2 games that both Kenobi and I did, at a time bank of 5 minutes and a time bank of 4.5 minutes. So,
wow, so it looks like
it's a
Indignation
small one for
slipping
them.
a little. Yeah, they must not be happy with this one, but still, objectively, 3 minutes, you got to be happy with. That's good.
It's a really good time. So now it falls to them on the defensive side, but Ad Astra now has an opportunity offensively to set the pace. They know that 2:55 is all that they have to beat. They can try and beat that no problem.
That's right, but whether they will or not is going to be the question. If they keep committing to this McCree, I think it's going to give them more problems. Because again, this is what they were doing in the last round, and for the most part, it wasn't really working out for them.
It's looking good though so far, at least for the moment for Indignation. Defensively is definitely what they've been better at for the most part. Obviously, their attacks on this map are stellar, but it's also because they usually get to use either the Reaper and the Doomfist or the Mei and the Doom or the Mei and Reaper, whatever they decide. Mei Reaper being what they did just last time. Now they get to go onto the base comp here, and we're going to see a mirror matchup is what we're going to see, it looks like.
That's right now, but we've already talked about it before. The mirror matchup is where Indignation really comes ahead. Tap on his Doomfist. I'm really excited to see what he can do this time around. Really going to give Chico a run for his money here.
We haven't seen them be the meta comp versus meta comp right at the beginning of a map where everything is even. So this is going to be the real true test between these two on this composition. The Hulk going to get used here at first, trying to go to the left is the side of Ad Astra. They're trying to go right to point. They get blocked off though by the side of Indignation, and now they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. They're trying now to rotate up to that high ground. They haven't been able to do so far. Leno using his shadow step to get above behind, and he gets spotted out. Tap getting Chico though. That's so much burst potential lost that even with Leno in this position behind doesn't necessarily do a lot for you, and he's actually going to use his Wraith form to get out.
And this is what I mean with Tap being so good on the ability to counter the other Doom. Always watch him and go. Is such a boon here for Indignation.
And now you're seeing them just work their way through, get stunned up a little bit this Tap, but he gets the shots with his left click, and now forced back finally is the side of Astra. So defensively, this is already going better for the side of Indignation than what we saw be put forward defensively on the first point by Astra.
Yeah, without a doubt, effortlessly holding off Astra twice now here on Anubis. Now they're coming up to some really strong ults, and been getting held so strong, only just now coming up to really one ultimate here in the sound barrier. So this is a good spot to be in here if you're Indignation, because you know your enemy has to cut so many ults to actually properly engage onto you.
And they keep continually pushing to this right side of theirs too for the team in Astra. They wanted to get up onto this high ground last time. They weren't really able to do it. They finally do this time, and now they can get set up on this high ground and try and deal. Oh, so close to dying was Tap. He's able to stay alive at least for the moment. White Noise going to drop down now. Doesn't have the barrier just yet. Coalescence keeping everybody alive. And now the Gravitic Flux comes out. Sound barrier used immediately. Keeps them all alive. Meteor Strike is next to be coming through from Tap. Doesn't find anything here. No halts combined with it either. But still a fight that's going well for the defensive side. They may give up a tick, which is okay because they're still winning the fight, is the important thing for Indignation.
Tap again, taking out ANJ out of the play, but always watching out for Chico. Lands where his Meteor Strike is and gets that punch onto him. He's, again, like, I can't express how much doing for his team, not to take away from Indignation in general, because they are playing really smart right now, and they're not using too many ultimates to keep holding off Astra.
They still have themselves a Coalescence and a Death Blossoms for this next fight. And here it is, Eden! And line it down, and the rest of the team falls and collapses on to Astra to eliminate them. Leno trying to escape. He gets himself a health pack, but he's not going to live for long. The whole team was there.
Yeah, that's a really smart stagger. Waste as much time as you can if you're Indignation. And Labosco, we're looking at last fight territory now. 40 seconds left. Astra only have one chance here. They have the Gravitic Flux. They have the Moira ult. Oh my god.
Tap is a monster on this Doomfist, on this Temple of Anubis run that they have. 25 seconds left to go. You do have Death Blossom and the Gravitic Flux, though. Two very good ultimates that you can even combine. Cloud doesn't have the sound barrier yet. We'll see. Oh, we got to pause. Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
So pause ends up coming through. Might be a DC that we may end up having here. We don't know what the pause is for just yet, but we are going to have a second here before we jump right back into this map beat. And it's been a pretty good defensive hold that we're seeing here. And now here we go. We're going to come right back.
Yeah, again, this last fight, this is do or die for Astra, who are waiting for Lenu to come back. Still, a lot of them available. Hopefully, Valve can be found.
Oh, the Gravitic Flux gets two. Alex is down. Chico getting his opportunity now to really push his way in. And at the 11th hour, they finally are able to push their way through for Astra.
And that's going to be it. Point A is captured, which is good. It was really starting to get deep. But Rayon got so much out of the Gravitic Flux, and you kind of attribute that to Cloud aggressively using the sound barrier in the fight before. Seemed good then, maybe not now in hindsight, but still, there's no guarantee the second cap comes right away. And Astra only have two ults to work with right now, but they're gonna get aggressive.
Use of the Death Blossom doesn't find anything for low. The Accretion helps get down White Noise, and Rayan is also taken out by that Coalescence. A cleanup coming through. So Indignation now in control of this point B with the sound barrier being available and the Gravitic Flux.
So honestly, the thing that's rough is that Astra commit whatever else they did have in fight and get nothing for it. Now they're in danger of getting cycled. Nation, who already have a few strong ults coming online. Only 2 minutes on the clock. Labosco, maybe one more ult cycle for the side of Astra is left for them before they just end up getting held.
Trying to build up to his Death Blossom was Eden. Doesn't matter, his teammate in Tap gets A&J down. So A&J was close to the sound barrier. You do lose your Doomfist, but your Doomfist is going to be so much closer and will get back faster. Trying to chase down Leno was Eden. Use of the Gravitic Flux, Coalescence on the other side. Not anybody getting downed just yet thanks to it, but now beautiful from Cloud, helping combine with Tap and Eden to get those eliminations. And they hold again, 1.5 minutes left to go for Astra, and they don't have the ultimates yet to try and take this point.
And Indignation very wisely didn't commit everything they had here. So going down to a minute left in time bank, they're still looking pretty solid here. Now, if you're at Astra, you might not even want to commit ults in this next fight. Just try to get something out of Indignation. If you can do that, you can make what's going to be your last fight a lot easier. But if they're going to do that, they need to move in right now.
Yeah, have to be moving fast. It looks like this is going to be our last fight, more than likely, be just based on the amount of time left and how long it's taking for them to get to the point. Chico is close to that meteor strike. Is the good thing. You do have sound barrier available as well. You know that the gravitic flux isn't going to be coming out, so you can try and save that for the death blossom that Eden has, pushing their way in and onto the point. Tap the first one down. Meteor strike coming out from Chico. Use of the death blossom, not going to get anything for Eden, and it looks like this is starting off perfectly for the side of Astra. Chico pushing his way through with his meteor strike and rocket punch. Stun coming out to Leno, but his team's starting to build up on the point. There's going to be one more opportunity perhaps to get back on. Tap has to get onto the point. Finally does so. Wrecking ball there as well. Alex dying before he can do anything though, and Tap not finding. Whoa, he found G with that meteor strike. So one player down. You have to continue to do this though if you're the side of Indignation. If you want to win here, Leno, overtime meter is going to come through. That's the good thing for the side of Indignation, even if they lose here, which it looks like is what's going to happen. Have Eden coming back in. Gravitic flux pulling players into the air. They're going to get taken down. They might do it here. Oh, Indignation's so close. They have 2 players left on either side. The Moira's back in. Tap rocket punching his way through. Getting back in. Tap trying to stay alive. He can't get held up. There's only 2 players left though. The Moira's stalling for as long as possible. Now the Lucio's back with Eden. The wrecking ball coming back, having to try and escape his lane. Oh, he dies though. This is so close for both of these teams. You have to get this through if you want to get into overtime. They get off the point. Indignation wins the map. What a finish.
Unbelievable clutch from the side of Indignation to be able to keep themselves alive long enough and really of Cloud to hold onto that sound barrier to keep specifically Tap alive for his recontest, buying enough time for at least the overtime to start.
They were probably going to lose that map anyway for Astra, but still, the fact that they almost were able to push that through in the overtime, even if you keep yourself alive for that draw, that's better than ending up with a map win for Indignation. But Indignation do come out on top regardless. They had such a good attack. They probably would have steamrolled again, but it doesn't matter. They win the map outright anyways, and they are now in the lead 2-1. But I think we can say for right now, we're seeing that one of the strengths, though, for this team in Indignation is Tap on the Doomfist, but he got exposed there a little bit when they were on defense B. What was making the difference for Astra, and how can they use that in wherever they decide to go to next?
On their defense, you said?
So I said no, not on their defense. I'm just saying to take advantage of Tap. How can they, because they were able to do that while Indignation was on defense.
Oh, okay. The main way on Chico, because like I was saying earlier, what happens a lot in this meta is you have your Doomfist checking the other Doomfist, and that's what Chico needs to be doing. That's what started the point A capture for Astra, and even the point B capture, because Tap gets taken out of the fight early, Doomfist out of the way. That's a really big win condition for you, just getting him out of the fight. And that's why the fight started to go in favor of Astra, even though they did end up losing it in the end for other reasons. That is at least the starting point of how you should be playing here.
They seem to be maybe adjusting a little bit to how Indignation is playing, but it has to continue. Our next map is going to be Rialto. So Rialto will be the next map that they've decided to go on. And this is a map where, and just this type of map in general is one where you can use Bastion a little bit more easily. And we know that as far as if we're looking at the compositions available that we see in the meta right now, there's sort of 2 predominant ones, right? We have the the Doomfist Reaper being the one that's the most prominent one that works on more maps than some of the others, but the Bastion also works on a lot of maps as well. If we're giving the teams a composition that we say is better, you'd probably give the edge to Indignation on the Doomfist Reaper, but then for the Bastion comp, you probably give the edge to Ad Astra.
Yeah, that's the thing. And now that we're going to Rialto, where you could get a lot of Bastion value, this might be where we see. This might be where we see Ad Astro get themselves back here and tie up the series again. Because keep in mind, it's 2-1 right now for Indignation in this first 4 series, and this is the map where they started to push back against Ex Oblivione in the last match here, the winners final.
So Rialto could be a turning point again. I mean, it's only 2-1 right now, right? It was 3-0
That's
in
right.
that one. So
Yeah.
so they're doing better than when they were going up against Ex Oblivione for sure. So they're already in a better position, at least for this point now. I think we are waiting just a little bit of a second here. We're going to be getting back into that map of Rialto, but Rialto is a map where Indignation was able to do really well too. So this could still be a map that they are able to get an edge. They won this map pretty strongly the last time they were on it yesterday. And now we're going to start loading into the map here, Beat. And we see, too, that the teams have, to no surprise, have switched sides again.
Yeah, so this time it is Ad Astra there in the red and Indignation in the blue. So, I mean, at this point, you can just almost assume.
Almost assume that they're going to just keep continually swap back and forth from this point on. I mean, they may not when they get to, if we get to another control map, maybe then they won't. But regardless, we get to see the robotic gondolas going around on the map in this city of Rialto, and we need to pause. Oh no, somebody DC'd on Ad Astra.
Yeah, I do find it interesting though, that Omnic riding the gondola there, it's floating, but I love that it can float in pace with the gondola moving across the water. You know what I mean? Like perfectly in sync.
Computers can make anything happen. Let's just put it that way, right?
Okay, that's true.
You can time things together with no issue. And it looks like we got our player back, so we're resuming right again. So it may have just been a restart from Rayan or something like that too. So that could be why they did it. Always good to do that if you've been playing a long time. Kind of let your let everything let the caches kind of reset themselves and be cleaned out. And
yeah, maybe your memory's leaking. Who knows?
Yeah. So we see though that defensively from the side of Indignation, well, not really a surprise, I guess. It's Bastion, but we do get Farah. Bastion, Farah, and it looks like we're seeing the same thing from Ad Astra.
Wow, that's actually going to be really interesting. Bastion, Farah mirror. So basically what you're going to be looking out for here is, of course, there's the shield battle there with the Bastions. You have to position yourself well, time your immortality barriers, or immortality fields rather, very well too. But it's also about this Farah Mercy 2v2 in the sky there.
Both Tap and Chico tagged each other pretty well, but neither of them fell. The Mercy's keeping them alive in this fight, at least for the moment. Both these Bastions kind of just spraying at each other right now as well. Neither one getting an edge. Rayan on the cart just trying to push it. It's halted up into the air. Ooh, Chico's getting low, or getting really low Tap, but Tap's able to keep himself alive by dropping a little low. Ooh, A and J getting hit with a rocket. And now you have Chico again trying to look for an opportunity here, moving towards where those players are down on the front, and just having either side. This is a stalemate right now, Beat. That's all this is.
Yeah, but a stalemate definitely favors the defending team. But it's a stalemate no longer actually going to be taken down by Eden there. So,
as you said, the defending team has the advantage, and there it was. And now, kind of having to reset here at least a little bit, is the side of Ad Astra. A&J and Chico still in the air, trying to make this battle work against Tap. But right now, neither of them is really getting an edge. And that's turning into which Bastion is going to get a little bit luckier while they fight each other on the front line. And right now, I guess you give the edge over to the side of Indignation because they're just taking time off the clock.
And you see Chico trying to position himself for Rocket. Tired of the Farah 1v1. Already with the loss of Baron. Sorry.
And the barrage coming out, we lose one Pharah on one side and then on the other. And now it's just Alex on the front line there to try and stall this out. You still have Eden on the Bastion, though, that can still maybe make this work, at least for the moment. But it looks like you'll finally get the push coming through for Ad Astra.
It took a little while longer than it should, but it means that Ad Astra have to wait a little while, or sorry, rather, Indignation have to wait a little bit longer before they recontest, because doing so without their Sigma is going to be quite difficult.
Well, that Sigma is on his way back, looking for that boop off. Not going to get it, though, is Chico.
Close.
So, Lino sitting in that corner, waiting to try and get back into his turret mode. But you are going to see the setup come through for the side of Indignation here as well. And Chico still looking in the skies for his counterpart in Tap. Tap with that edge, though, as far as Rocket Barrage is the one good thing. But Supercharger, Immortality Field just down in time, keeping everybody alive. Amplification Matrix, though, working. And Eden is able to get White Noise. Gravitic Flux up, pulls the Bastion into the air. And he's not going to fall, though. The Mercy is down there to heal him up. Tank mode being used, shooting from above. Hot shots coming through. Eden gets pulled in. He's going to lose his life thanks to Chico. And this is a back and forth fight, but there's still players available for the defense to hold the point.
It's still not a bad position here, but Chico needs to get some serious damage in here to get that Rocket Barrage up, because if Indignation managed to reestablish themselves, it's going to be really hard to get them off in this last fight.
Especially they have that Tap's barrage is available. So if they can get that barrage in, Immortality Field too late, Eden dies. The res coming through, though, will get him back into this fight. Have to be careful here. Tap needs to be massive with this barrage, finally making his way forward. Players get halted together, and they do take out that Supercharger is the good thing. But you have the Immortality Field that just got used. Tap coming through. Barrage is through. Finds himself the Bastion. Does die. Chico coming through. Right into the Bastion and dies. Does get their Bastion res back in, though. Lino's still alive, means you still have a chance, at least for the moment. Having to heal himself back up is Eden. Tank mode is what he's going to use here. Use of the Immortality Field. Use of the Gravitic Flux by Alex. Gets players low, but the Immortality Field keeping them alive. Shade is down, though. They're going to be able to push through this, no doubt.
Still a valiant hold there from Indignation. They're still in this fight, actually. Tap back.
Tap! Tap trying to help push them through, but he dies, and now the push will come through. Okay. Wow, that was close.
Really scared me there for a second. That would have been insane. But no, Indignation could not hold. Now the Bastion no longer working for them. They're gonna go for the main Reaper. They wanna now they want to be able to just approach Linu and force him off of the card and hopefully keep him off of there. Still, it's going to be really hard. Linu has the imp configuration form. Going into this next fight, and actually, yeah, because of some of these swaps, Indignation don't really have anything to... Wow, they do not care.
Well, the good thing for Indignation is that they can push right onto them, but the positioning right now of where the Bastion is made it difficult. They have stopped the card, at least for the moment, but now they're starting to lose players. They've at least lost Tap, and that's a major loss. Hard to stall out if you don't have that Rocket Barrage available for Chico too, and Eden just trying to stay alive on that Reaper, and then comes back and obliterates Cloud with one rocket.
And now, if you're Indignation, if you're at Astra, ults just yet, because your enemy team doesn't have anything. They're fighting you dry, and it's so dangerous for them to do so because of what we're seeing. Unless they can all focus and kill that Bastion, Linu is just going to happily mow them down with Bastion's ever so playful humming. Or buzzing, if you will.
I don't know about it being playful, but it
sounds famous.
The Gatling gun does hum, or buzz, whatever you want to call it, that's for sure.
Oh no, I meant like, cause Bastion sometimes has like some of his voice lines. Yeah.
True.
Chico looking for that rock.
Pulls them in. Lino melts down Shade, no problem. Eden does get into here, but he's trying to fight through an Immortality Field is the only problem. Has to reload the shotguns, and they are all dead. But they're starting to build up some of those ultimates. But this I mean, for at Astra, they don't care. They don't need to do anything. They have such a big ultimate advantage right now. They do get this next point, a minute 50 to try and push the final way.
This is where it should be getting tougher for Indignation, but they've been winning so many fights. Or sorry, should be tougher for Ad Astra, but they've been winning so many fights without using ults. They really might just go through this last fight, slapping Indignation with their Wallace. Look at what we got here. 5 ults out of 6 ready. That amplification matrix charges so quickly. So they really need to make something happen here.
That's one way to try and do it. Throw a supercharger down, aggressively push into the Bastion, and then coming through with the Death Blossom in the Blizzard. They get it back.
Oh, there it is.
They might not have needed that Blizzard, though. I actually think they probably could have saved it. That's a loss for them, at least for the Blizzard part, because they won that fight without it.
I think there's so much momentum going. They could not risk holding the Blizzard and failing to stop Ad Astra in that push. Now Indignation are still in a good spot because A, they have the Gravitic Flux and there's no response on the other side defensively. And Ad Astra have to commit so many ults now to reestablish themselves on the payload despite being so far from the end. So either way, this is a win for Indignation.
The tank mode paying dividends early on. People getting pulled into Alex's ult, though. Their Gravitic Flux, and then the stun with the accretion. The Bastion is so low. The May wall will save him at least for the moment. He's trying to run away. Tap coming back, switching over to the Doomfist. Lino is back in a position here, but too many players around him. He can't do anything. The ultimates don't even matter to Gravitic Flux. This is going to help at least a little bit. They are starting to push their way back, but players can come back. They have one more fight is the nice thing for the side of Indignation. This is what they want.
And no ults being available besides the amp mate. Difficult. Wow, coming back with the sound barrier. Puts his team in a good position, but wow, what a pick.
Sucrax got caught out, and now Eden as well. The picks coming through for the side of Ad Astra. This is going to be so hard for them to keep sound barrier used, keep players alive, though, on the side of Indignation. Ad Astra still with the advantage. Tap getting taken down. A massive loss. Wraith form used here by Lino, keeping himself alive. Alex staying on the cart for as long as possible, but he gets froze up and eliminated quickly. Blizzard out to try and win this fight finally for the side of Indignation, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen.
Unfortunately, Sucrax going down was detrimental for the side of Indignation, and although it's overtime, Ad Astra are going to cap here on Rialto.
They got themselves to that last fight, though, for Indignation. That opportunity to sort of try and turn things around if they could. If they just won one fight where the ultimates were even, ended up not happening. Now they have to see if they can have a bigger time bank than what we saw come out from Ad Astra. Indignation offensively here, the last time we saw them on this map, only had to push halfway. So we'll see what they end up deciding to do. I don't think it would be a surprise if Ad Astra played the Bastion again. They've looked pretty effective on it for the most part.
Yeah, composition they're very comfortable on, and it can work in defense on all points if you want to force it. I think Ad Astra is the team who's very likely going to do that, and unless the Bastion from Indignation or the May Reaper is really on top, it's going to be hard for them to overcome Ad Astra. I actually think, based on what we're seeing, Ad Astra might end up holding early on, because once past a certain point, like the momentum off of this Bastion play was too strong for Ad Astra, and they really had no way of dealing with it until it was too late. Because even though they got the Bastion off the cart, they had lost so many fights, they gave their enemy 6 ultimates.
The one thing, though, that you can say for Indignation is this is a map that they could have stopped on their defense. They could have stopped Ad Astra's offense on both the first point and the second point. So if you think of it, if you think about it, there was opportunities for them where if they didn't make small mistakes, they could have themselves a very easy attack. But now they're going to do this Bastion v Bastion mirror with the Affairs in the Sky. And, you know, we saw this last time, and the advantage eventually went to Indignation, but it was very much a stalemate at the beginning.
That it was, and so far we seem to, for the most part, in the same position here, but Rayon is sticking with Lanu here on the high ground. Oh!
Tap sniping out of the sky. The Farah, so now advantage going over to Indignation. So that that advantage with the Bastion doesn't really matter if you don't have your Farah. the Fair can now just flank, and the Bastion can't focus everybody.
Right, so much work here done from Tap just to get the cart moving team, get that early pick off of Mercy. But once that happens, there is nobody to bar Aspera from putting so much damage into the rest of the enemy team.
So they are very close already to that first point. Already in a better position than we saw at Astra, and at this point now they have the amplification matrix put down to allow for Eden to just free fire in onto players coming forward, and White Noise is easily taken down, and that is a super fast, oh, the res gets stopped too, and now you have a massive advantage for the attacking team in Indignation.
And wow, just such a quick point A cap here for the side of Indignation. I'm very surprised they're playing this so well. Tap is doing a lot of work this time around on the Pharah. Now taking this early position here is Eden, who wasn't with any of his teammates, so that was a little over-aggressive.
Massive accretion that came out, and it stuns you the further it travels. So now they have to wait for their Bastion, and they're just having everybody die because of it.
It's honestly a shame. Indignation had a lot of momentum going in their favor, and losing that while at Astra get to reestablish themselves is really unfortunate.
A mistake that could cost you. They do have a lot of ultimates, is the good thing though for the side of Indignation. So they may, but the only problem is there's a lot of ultimates on the other side B.
That there are, wow, 5 ultimates actually on the side of at Astra. So, oh no, my mistake. 4 ultimates side of Astra, soon to be 5. This is definitely going to be a colorful fight coming up here.
Yeah, very colorful for both sides. Tank mode going to get thrown out by Eden here at the beginning. Accretion misses. The Hulk pulls him in, and he's dead in his tank mode. So tank mode not doing anything for Eden there. He's down. Will they even be able to res him back in this fight? Yes, they will. Now it's just a matter of what ultimate ends up coming through next.
Yeah, Tap not really finding much success in this Pharah duel this time around, but needs to if he wants his team to continue going. Oh, 2 taps!
A&J dead immediately. The Mercy being out of the fight is massive. No res can come through, so the reses are even. The barrage from Tap, no value. And now this is looking like a lost fight for the side of Indignation. They will create at least a little bit of space, maybe for a second, but the card isn't moving.
I don't know why Alex committed the gravitic flux there. There was no way he was going to be able to finish that kill without his Pharah. So now, a few ults too deep. It seems like Indignation might be starting to flounder here because so many ults are still available for the side of at Astra.
And they're just getting staggered here. They haven't been able to regroup, so they had 2 players just die that they now have to wait for. Eden is staying on the Bastion, though. They haven't made any swaps to their composition, but their ult economy has gone to shambles.
It really has, so unless they can get some huge picks early off, like before, they're gonna have a lot of trouble here in these next 2 minutes. They have to build up some ults quickly and get some value here. They have to dodge the... Yeah, no, it isn't. They have to dodge Rayon's Gravitic Flux too, because it's very likely we're going to see coming up soon. But even just a dry fight there, or rather only the Amp Matrix and Indignation once again forced back.
We still have 2 minutes on the clock, though, to try and get through this point. We know that it was an overtime push that came through for the side of Ad Astra, so if they can get a team fight win here, things can still look good for Indignation. But for Ad Astra, with the amount of ultimates, they should be able to rotate through and be able to keep this going with no problem. Eden is about to get tank mode again. And we'll see what they decide to do and how they're going to attack here. Oh, Chico got caught out. That's a mistake that they can take advantage of. That could actually lead to something for the side of Indignation. They still have to get that cart moving, though, is one of the problems.
Yeah, but still, they know the positional advantage is the most important thing, so they're taking this fight in the underpass here. But would this flanking accretion actually make the difference?
Well, Tap is able to get through, and he gets 2 down. Tap is dead, but Leno in the tank mode still making a difference. The barrage counter from Chico may be enough to keep them in front. Tries to boot some players off, no success. But, oh, so low was Chico. They at least do have the cart established for a spot for the side of Indignation, so they maybe can get this going again. They can deal with this bear that's trying to take them out in the sky. Oh, the accretion to Hulk combo is massive!
And now, Indignation are in a good spot, finally getting the cart. They have the advantage. Now we're going to see Rayon use the Gravitic Flux. Oh no, Tap is taken out.
They lose Tap. That could be enough, especially even though you don't have the Mercy in that fight for the side of Ad Astra. You still have an advantage in other areas, and now you have your Mercy back in line against Rez. Eden is down again. 28 seconds left. This fight is going back and forth. The Rez coming back into Eden. May isn't enough to make a difference. Lino is down. They don't have the Rez available either with the Mercy just doing that. So now this is the opportunity for Indignation to start pushing back forward. Just have to deal with the Baptiste and the Mercy that are left alive.
Yeah, still, they got to be so careful. Chico has the rocket barrage, is likely later on, but yeah, actually, as this fight goes down, it's really unlikely there's going to be a contest from Ad Astra, as their last members are just respawning now. It's better they position themselves for this next fight. And again, 90 seconds left to finish this Labosco. That's not a lot of time, on top of the fact that Ad Astra have a lot of ults up right now. It's going to be so hard for Indignation.
Ad Astra was in a similar spot, but the ult difference is where we can really see this maybe not go the same way for the side of Indignation. They have barely any ults, and the defending team has a ton where they had none last time. They've already taken out the Supercharger and the Immortality field of Indignation, so they are already losing resources in this fight that can help them win it, and they are forced back here, at least for the moment.
They are, but still not losing too many in this fight, being able to reestablish is super important. Eden is going to get too early on with just the App Matrix.
Luckily for him, the App Matrix was in an area where he could get those two players because it wasn't positioned correctly on that door. So he was still able to get the kills through. They did lose one player, though, is the only thing. And now Tap, with that barrage, trying to get to the door so he can get players as soon as they come out. He's hiding in this corner, just waiting for his opportunity. He's going to be able to get to either side wherever they may go, waiting for that call to come out. He finds the Supercharger, quickly takes it down, uses the barrage specifically for the Bastion. And now this is looking perfect for the side. They got it! Nobody could get on thanks to the Gravitic Flux by Alex, so they had the cart pushed through. They have a small time bank, but it's still slightly larger than Ad Astra, so even going in to this final attack more than likely.
Indignation managing to finish there with some time is definitely, especially with their early struggles in this map. I think they're happy to have just finished in general. So now we're going here into time bank rounds. Honestly, basically one good fight, maybe two if you die quickly. And on the side of Indignation, this next round is going to be really short, Labosco.
Going to be short for either side. Ad Astra, the team that's going to be attacking first. One thing to consider here, if we're going by what we've already seen on this map of Rialto, the first point hold from Indignation was better than Ad Astra's. Now, that was also because of a good pick that Tap got. So if Chico gets a good pick on the Pharah, it could be the opposite of what we saw come out for Ad Astra, where they got stalled out for a very long time. But from what we've seen, at least for both of these teams here today, at least early on, Indignation has looked better on this map. But then in the second point, Ad Astra looked way better. So we'll see how it's going to go here. No surprise, we're getting a mirror.
That's right, and it's honestly interesting how you're referring to the last defense round. So since it's 1 minute, it wouldn't be that surprising to take place. So that's why I think now Ad Astra, who are attacking first, if they can't get through this first fight, it's going to be really hard, and they already lose Linu.
Tap isn't even concerned with Chico in the air at the moment. Now we'll turn his direction towards them after they've gotten the res out, and he wins the battle again! The res is gone, they're without their Pharah. This is so good for Indignation.
This is a great start. Cart has just not even completely made it over the bridge. Tap gets two!
The barrage is up! Barrage is
Chico, almost a panic swap there from the side of Ad Astra. They're going for the May Reaper. They can't win this Bastion mirror, so they gotta approach as quickly as they can and not lose anyone in the process. The last fight.
Looking for his opportunity as the Reaper. Eden is ready for it, though. Barrage is available for the side of Indignation. Tap looking for his opportunity. Alex getting close here as well. Oh, the barrage coming through. Finishes off one. White Noise is down. They've only lost one, and now Alex will finish off Lina, keeping the Bastion alive too. And Eden, he's so close to going down, but the Immortality field kept him. They have to get the cart stopped, though. They got to get to the carts.
It's alright, just giving up a little space is fine as long as they winning the fight in the end, which is exactly what happened. Out, and Indignation have their win condition.
They definitely do. You just have to push. I don't even know if it's halfway beat.
I don't think it is. It's really just around that first corner here on first point Rialto. It's really not a tall order. All you have to do is win one fight on the side of Indignation.
One fight win, and you're up 3-1 and have yourself a chance to get into the grand finals. So
Right.
close for them right now for the side of Indignation. We know we're going to probably see Bastions come out from either side. If you're expecting Bastra if you're at Astra, do you just go Bastion again? Is that the only answer that you have?
It's really hard to say. I think Indignation are probably just going to stick to the far Bastion. Tap is on a hot streak right now, and I honestly don't see why you would swap him onto anything at the moment. So I think Indignation, they're going to stick to what they've been running the last little bit. And I'm not surprised to see the May here on Chico. You want that little bit of stall here. You want to be able to maybe separate members of Indignation, and that would make it easier for Lanu to get that burst damage on and take somebody out.
The ice wall works as an extra barrier too to avoid damage or to just push that Bastion up in the air out of an immortality field. So there's a lot of utility that you get with ice wall. Eden is going to get set up here very quickly in front. Tap will push off the May, at least at the beginning. And now you have both sides still just spraying in, praying that they're going to get that Bastion down. Nothing so far. The Pharah is making this so difficult, though, for the Bastion to stay in that spot. And, oh, the Maywall actually blocks off damage, but it also blocks when the team is trying to rotate. And Rayan is dead.
No!
And now the Mercy's super low. The Bastion can do nothing. Already with Mirage, too. Tap is on such a streak, and they're going to be able to get this no problem.
Yeah, it seems like this is all but over for the side of Aspera. They're trying their best right now to keep them fight, but it looks like there's really nothing to do with the loss of white noise. No, so it means big problem for the side of Aspera.
Tank mode has to be massive from Leno, but he can't get to the cart, and the win goes over to Indignation. They take that 3-1 lead.
Match point now here for the side of Indignation. What was a close series before between these two teams might be Indignation a little more of an easier fashion. Although I say easy, this has been a close map, just like all the others. Time bank rounds too, Labosco.
Without a doubt. I mean, this map was so hard fought. It is going to be the choice of Ad Astra again for what could be potentially our final map. We'll see where they decide to go. But I mean, up until this point, it has been so back and forth between these two teams.
Yeah, it really has been. And if I recall, Control is the next map. And I have to see what Ad Astra wants to do this time around.
We know that as far as control maps are concerned, from what we've seen at least today, Indignation has looked so good. If you look at Lijiang Tower, they won that one 2-0.
Yep.
The Doomfist Reaper, that was what
My God,
their bread
yeah.
and butter was. We're
Yeah.
going to Busan, it looks like here, which is a map where you can have a little bit of a different take on what you want to do on these points. But the one thing that's predominant, especially if you get Mecha Base as one of your maps, I mean, you're not really going to, I mean, you can run a Pharah there. You're not really going to, but we've also seen Tap. He's really good on the Pharah.
Yeah, he really has been tapped. Doomfist, Pharah, even the May, really good at aiming these right clicks. So now at Aspera have chosen to go to Busan, the map that lost them the series in their last game. So now they want to see if they can bring it back. But the problem may be that it could end up being a Doom Reaper mirror. Like you said, Indignation's bread and butter. But at the same time, if you're at Aspera, you do have to have a good Doom Reaper. Because even if you win this, you are going to face Ex Oblivione, who had an insane Reaper Doom comp.
Yes, without a doubt. There's no doubt that that could be what ends up happening if we get that. But before we still we got to figure out who's going there first, right? So
Yep.
Ad Astra can definitely force this to go another map. There's no doubt about that. It could end up being 3-2 after this. there's a lot of possibilities that can come through. Apparently, man of class. I don't know. I'm not looking at chat, but I'm seeing it in the Discord that
Right.
apparently spammed this crab to make me dab, which man of class is trying. I'm giving him credit for that. I know you
Is
look
it
at
working though?
I don't have I dabbed yet?
I know, but are you thinking about it?
I'm
Uh, mm, uh, mm,
I'm thinking
mm.
about it. I'm thinking
Okay, he's
about it.
thinking about it. There you go,
Thinking
Ben.
about
It's working. It's working. Keep it up, chat.
it.
Well, Bosco will dab just yet. Watch.
If Beat tells me that I need to dab, maybe I'll dab. But
Oh, okay, okay.
regardless, let's take a look again.
Oh, there it is. I'm seeing more in the chat. They
Oh
wanted the
boy,
Bosco.
they want the dab.
They
They
want the
want the
dab.
dab. They want it. I don't want to do it to them, but sometimes you gotta hit them with it.
Oh, there it is.
I never dab, so congratulations for getting me to do it once.
There it is.
It's a rare thing.
We did it, chat.
You did it this time. I don't fall to chat pressure often, but sometimes you have to do it, especially since we're waiting for Busan here, which is going to be our next map. Let's talk about Busan a little bit more, though, Beat.
Sure.
Uh, for Ad Astra, we know the Bastion's been the best thing for them against
Mhm.
Indignation.
Mhm.
The control, it's just almost impossible to do. Not that you can't, but it's not something you see very often. So what do
No,
they do?
I think if the tough thing is, I think most of their best maybe the Far on Sanctuary and downtown if you really want to force it, but it's gonna be a tough ask because of how well we're probably gonna see the Doom Reaper come out from Indignation. So unless the Doom Fara from Ad Astra is like high level, close to perfect, it's gonna be really hard for them to come out on top here, I find.
It definitely is. Is there what would be the map if there's a first map that you want to see? What is it that you want to see for Ad Astra? What's the first one?
Probably probably downtown. Because
Downtown?
I can see them trying to run Farah, and I think it works pretty well there if you were smart about it. So that's probably gonna be their preference. Even maybe they want to try some weird stuff with the Bastion. I'm sure it might work there. I can't
Sanctuary.
imagine it working better anywhere. Maybe Sanctuary.
Well, I was going to say Sanctuary is a map where if we talk about the impact of Doomfist,
Mm-hmm.
that's where he can have the least amount of impact because where the point is small and it's a lot of open area around the point. You have four
True.
pillars that are really like the air or the walls that are away from the point are like the only spots where you can kind of get those rocket punches in.
Yep.
So those are the spots where you're hoping and praying that maybe you get something to come through for a different sort of composition instead of the Reaper. Maybe you run the May. I mean,
Mm.
I don't know if that's what they're going to do. I don't think it is because generally that point is the Reaper and the Doomfist. So we're speculating a lot here. We're not sure what they're going to do, obviously, but the one thing we do know is Indignation has looked so good in that comp. Or do you say, you know what, we make our stand here. This is the composition that needs to be run. We're going to run Reaper Doomfist and we're going to try and beat them at their own game.
Cool. That would be really interesting from Ad Astra. I can see them doing it here on Control because they did run it against Ex Oblivione in their last match here. Also on this match, played them very close. Their Doom Reaper is there. It's competent. It just they're missing a bit of that synergy that really takes it to the next level. That combining your Halt with your Meteor Strike, with your other ultimates in general.
We've seen some really good accretions come out, I think, from both of the Sigmas on these teams. I think the Sigmas have been fun to watch on either side. Rayan and both Alex have been really, really good. The supports have also been pretty darn good on either side too. I think there's a lot. This is why this is the lower bracket final. That both teams have a lot of players to watch for, and they're
Yeah.
just better at certain things. Like Chico is still a really good DPS, even though he's lost some of those battles to Tap.
Yeah, 100%. It just goes to show you how good of especially a Doomfist that Tap is and Afara. This guy is actually pretty nuts, and that's why if Indignation go into the finals for it, I would love to see that matchup between Sicko and Tap.
So we now have our map. One of the maps that we said that maybe you would like to see if you're at Astra, it's Sanctuary.
Yeah, that's right. So This is probably going to be where we have Astra's going to play. If they don't run anything weird like the May or Bastion here, they're probably just going to run Doom Reaper the entire time.
Yeah, and that looks like it's what we're going to see from either side. Eden going to use the Symmetric, the portal to get you out a little bit faster. You don't have to use Cloud's speed at the beginning is the nice thing. You don't have to use the amp it up speed boost, so you're fine there with doing the Symmetra. It's not going to stay, I promise. So the door's about to open here on what could potentially be our final map between Indignation and Astra. By the way, Indignation still going to be in the red, and the blue is, of course, still Indignation. And they do get to that point first and establish themselves, and now it's just about who's going to be able to win this.
Yeah, that's right. Indignation already on the point, waiting for the side of Aspera. It's really just going to be about this Doomfist Reaper mirror here, Lobosco. It's all about cooldown management and kicks in his first fight. Oh, well, Chico!
Chico coming through with his rocket punch and gets the first elimination. It's on to Sucrax, and now trying to pull that Doomfist in was Shade. Doesn't end up working out. Coalescence already available for the side of Astra, and they're off to a great start. Coalescence working well. And here you go. They looked good. Chico starting things off for them, getting out Sucrax out of the fight early.
Yeah, and part of that is on tap, not keeping an eye on Chico, allowing him to get into the back there and take out one of the supports. So now, early capture on Astra. This is a great start for them. We're just pushing up a little bit, getting a little aggressive, trying to get some ult charge.
They all get pulled in by the Hull. Tap gets taken down. Rayan able to get through with him, but Chico's dead, so we're even on a 5v5. So still an okay position for the team trying to push in an Indignation, and now with the loss of that Orisa, you're in an even better spot. Chase down that Reaper. This point's going to get flipped.
Chico definitely way too big for his bridges, going in so deep there, really wants that kill on tap. Congrats, buddy, you got it. But now you cost your team the fight there. All it took was the Coalescence from Sucrax, and now the point has been flipped. Indignation are now in control.
They also have an ult advantage as well, Beat. They now have a couple of ults already up. You do have ults coming online for Astra, but you also have a couple more that are coming online for the side of Indignation. So this is going to be a very even fight for this next one. Positioned on the point 2 is Indignation, just waiting for those players to come in on the side of Astra. See Chico coming across the screen there. Use of the Gravitic Flux is going to get used. The sound barrier coming through, but Tap ends up dying outside of it to A&G. So now you're without your Doomfist, and Eden going to die immediately as well. They didn't use any ults, though, was the good thing for the side of Indignation, other than getting hit by that Gravitic Flux that came out from Astra.
Yeah, they tried to beat it with the sound barrier, but wasn't enough. Still, only 2 ults to kept point. That's actually pretty good for Astra here. They are feeling good in this position at the end. 55% and climbing. Now again, they're taking this aggressive hold, but is Chico going to rein himself in a little bit? That's the question here, because he can't be going in deep like he was before.
Well, you can go in deep if you have a Meteor Strike. He does end up getting that elimination, and then the Death Blossom following up. They use 2 ultimates. They get value out of them. They're up to 75%. We're really close to last fight territory. Ult advantage, though, is to Indignation.
And Chico doing so much work here on this Doomfist this time around. Tap been relatively quiet so far. Has Meteor Strike a chance to bring himself back here, put himself in the kill feed, but is this going to be where Indignation cap split the point?
Well, Supercharger going to come out for the side of Astra. Gravitic Flux forces out the sound barrier. In comes the Doomfist for Tap. Meteor Strike into the air, looking for his opportunity to drop down. He's just going to go down onto the high ground and now punch his way back in. Overtime has started. Uppercuts through 1. Actually 2 he got with that uppercut, and they win the fight.
That is a huge flip, but now it costs them so much that Indignation can't afford to lose a single fight at this point. 99. All that Astra has to do is win 1 single fight. But now, with not many ults in the bank, I can't imagine that Astra's going to win it right away.
Indignation, knowing this, they pushed up forward, try and build up closer to the ultimates that they have. They don't quite have the sound barrier yet, but there is Gravitic Flux on the other side. So we'll see how the ult tracking has been for Astra. They are going to use it. The ult, I think, got canceled out. Oh, it did get one. It did manage to get Alex, but he's able to be kept alive thanks to the Coalescence. So you're able to get through that. Now you have your sound barrier available to use to give yourself an advantage if you're the side of Indignation. Chico has his Meteor Strike, needs the value out of it, missing onto Cloud. He does get the Rocket Punch onto the Moira, trying to get the kill, can't quite do it yet. And he has to back out and away, not being able to keep his life. We've lost the Arisa, though, for the side of Astra, starting to turn in favor of the side of Indignation. Tap is down, though. You've lost the DPS, though, on either side. Have the Gravitic Flux coming out again. Rayan is getting stunned, though, and now the Sound Barrier coming back through. Wrecking Ball to keep this going. Overtime for either side. Whoever wins this fight is going to win this first point that we have. Coalescence keeping everybody alive for the side of Indignation.
Yeah, but now Astra are coming back on stall characters, so the value isn't like it is before Lanu on this Tracer. Needs to get some picks off, but it's all about Tap. Can he get some value? And he takes it, Jay.
Sound Barrier keeping them all alive now as well. Have the use of the Death Blossom coming up. The doing what he can is Chico, but it's not enough. The first point goes over to Indignation to give them that 1-0 lead. One more point to win this match and to go to the grand finals.
And Astra still are no slouches. They're making this as competitive as they can here. But late game Tap, too strong.
Late in the game, he gets that Meteor Strike onto A and J. But you saw there was opportunities there for Astra to win it. We're going to get a mirror here, it looks like, though, for this final point on Mecha Base.
Yeah, so it's going to be the same as it was before at Astra. Coming out with a strong showing on the Reaper Doomfist, but it wasn't good enough. They need to be better in those dry fights where they don't have any ultimates. Chico can do that, but seems to be a little bit inconsistent there. I think the team needs to work with him a little more to get those kills. Like once in a while, use the Halt Punch combo or something.
The good thing about this tournament is you do get a lot of VOD reviewing that you're going to be able to do afterwards. So this is valuable for these teams regardless of where you finish, and finishing in the lower bracket finals wouldn't be bad, but that's not what Astra wants to do. They want to win this one. Rayan throwing the accretion out, hits that shield, so no value out of it, but he's starting to come forward with his team. Tap now on a looking for an opportunity to rocket punch his way in. The point is a maelstrom now from the either side. Tap looking for an opportunity again. Uppercuts a few players into the sky and gets them around one of those barriers, but nobody dead yet on either side. Eden having to Wraith form away here. Coalescence battling, and Tap the first one to go down. Cloud, though, counters and takes Leno down, even 5v5, and now is starting to get a slight advantage for the side of Indignation. Shade and Eden combining for a few more eliminations, and now it's just the Moira and Rayan on the point. It's going to be Indignation on Mecha Base taking it first after they take this last straggler out.
Yeah, huge pick there from Cloud, and now has the Sound Barrier a bit quicker, and it will have it ready for the Gravitic Flux of Rayon. So now we got a close hold there from Indignation. They're trying to see if they can get an early pick so they don't have to commit as any ults in this next fight.
You can see, if you look to the left of your screen, in that top area is Tap looking for his opportunity to come in. He got spotted out, so he has to retreat, though, as Sucrax right now just healing everybody up, close to another Coalescence. Both of the Moiras are extremely close. These fights have been so hard fought for, as we're going to have a fight on the point once again. Rayan looking for the opportunity. Gravitic Flux. Out comes the Death Blossom from Eden, and it's better than the Flux. The only problem, doesn't matter that you grabbed a bunch. Goodbye, Rayan, flying off halfway there to getting back to into the grand finals for this team in Indignation.
Indignation really want to get this face off onto Ex Oblivione, so now they have a lot to work with too in this next fight. 50% and climbing. You're starting to sweat here if you decide to add Aspera. You're running out of chances to get the point.
Coalescence will push them through the choke. Meteor Strike is going to be coming out, though, is the one thing. Nothing of value so far happening for Chico, though. Tap is dead, though. Good start for them to get this point back, and Eden as well. All the GPS is gone. This should spell a win for them, and they're not going to let their tournament hopes die here just yet as they get this flip back. 77 built up, though, for Indignation means that they only need to win maybe one fight, though.
Yeah, this is a late capture here for the side of Aspera, but still having to engage onto them makes this a little bit harder for Indignation. They have a lot of ults in this next fight, but if they can't use them to get this point flip, if they can't actually manage to overcome Aspera here, it's suddenly going to become a very dangerous situation for them.
Well, they've actually given up the point. They got to get back on it. They use the Death Blossom, and they've already lost 2 players. This is disastrous for Astra. Coalescence keeping a couple of the players left alive, but it's Indignation winning the fight. That's all that matters. Goodbye, Chico, off the point. Even as a little bit of crouching there and a wave of the hand, and now it's up to 80%. Last fight territory for the side of Astra.
A fatal mistake was made there by Astra, not realizing this amazing rotation here coming out from Indignation, and their lack of presence is the reason why they're very likely not going to win this next map. They only have the Coalescence to work with, almost no ults to show for, and this is it.
Use of the Gravitic Flux, it's big, doesn't get any kills. Coalescence keeping everybody alive. Meteor Strike helping get Chico 1 down. Death Blossom, though, even fight so far, still a chance for Astra, but Tap rocket punching his way through, not going to be enough. Too many players on the point. He's got to be an absolute hero to win this back over for the side of Indignation, and he's not going to be able to do it. Keeping themselves in it in the 11th hour again is Astra, the flip coming through.
So clutch. That fight could have spelled the end for Astra, but managing to flip it means they're still alive here. But all they have to work with is the Gravitic Flux. So again, if we can get a smart rotation out of Indignation, if they can somehow take a different route and get a better position on the Astra, we're probably going to see a repeat of the last fight.
Astra was ready for it this time. They weren't going to fall for the same trick twice. Tap looking for his rocket punch in. Nothing there. Has to back himself back out. You have Coalescence and the Sound Barrier available on for Astra to use to try and hold on to this point. They're up to almost 70%. Chico gets tapped. Big loss at the beginning. Coalescence battling on either side. Lina making sure to keep that healing orb out. Death Blossom coming through to help deal additional damage for the side of Astra. Chasing down, but they won't actually push too far. They have a Sound Barrier available, and that's it for Indignation. This is going to be the final fight for this mecha base point.
Yeah, that's right. Can Indignation manage to act and make the flip happen? It's going to be as the Meteor Strike. So unless Tap can take him out before he already lost Eden.
Gravitic Flux coming through as well, forces out the Sound Barrier, and you're already down a few players. Meteor Strike and Sound Barrier, all ultimates committed here for the side of Astra. And that little mistake of losing one player too early will cost Mecha Base for the side of Indignation. They don't even get a chance to really attack at this point.
Now Indignation still have a chance to win this map in finals, but they have to win on downtown, because that is where we're going.
Downtown, the next map that we get to see, that could be the one that determines whether or not Indignation finishes it off here, or if the cardiac kids that they're being right now at Astra keep their hopes alive.
And now at Astra, if they can keep up this level of play, if they can keep catching Tap out of position, helping Chico get him out of the fight, I think they're going to have a really good shot here. And honestly, got to highlight Rayon is playing pretty well on the Sigma, getting a lot of value out of those accretions. And in that last round, he was getting a lot of damage in.
Ton of damage coming through. Chico, you said it before, he needs to be more of an impact. He's been that at least on that last map of Mecha Base. Needs to do it here again. Tap and Chico both, but of course you have to look at Shade and White Noise as well, helping combine them with some of those halts that they've been doing, and just the other utility that those players are providing on either side. Shade meeting out in front. Tap will get Lino at the beginning, so a good start here for Indignation on downtown. Tap looking for another, hasn't found it yet. Uses that seismic slam to try and get through. Ooh, getting close to getting low himself, but his team still has an advantage, at least for the moment.
Yeah, now the team's backing up. Indignation knows they just want to capture the point. They don't want to lose anybody, though. Their retreat, not already a Coalescence coming out here, but still a point flip is in favor here of Indignation. So now the percentage starts ticking up. Oh, big pick there.
Lina being down, Coalescence invested into this fight to give an extra advantage over to Indignation. They're going to be up to 20% already, and they're going to get even more percentage here because of the regroup that's needed for the side of Astra.
This will improve your condition.
And this is really hard with no ultimates online here. For Astra, it's going to be difficult for them to take this next engagement again, unless you get a pick off, manage to establish the point in the way Indignation did in the last.
So establishing themselves, they do get to attack from some high ground though, so one good thing for the side of... Oh, but Tap with the Meteor Strike doesn't even matter if you've got that little bit of a height advantage. You've still lost the fight because the ultimate's available for Indignation. They have been dominant on this downtown, already up to 50%.
So far so good, and partially thanks to Cloud doing a really good job at forcing members of Aspera out of position and into their team. Last fight got a boop onto Rayon right into his team's backline, and that was what allowed Indignation to take them out. You see Cloud looking for it again, pulling you off. So much value here from the Lucio.
Eden looking for where that team might come from. They don't know where Astra is, and now they do see where they are. They come out, Supercharger thrown down here. Leno and Chico combining quickly. They eliminate that Supercharger with no issue. That should be all they need to put in here as well. They do throw the Meteor Strike out to ensure that they win this fight, but it's going to be last fight territory for Indignation, where they only need to win one fight, I should say.
That's right, that very well could be their next fight if played correctly. Now Indignation are coming back with 3 ults, and it really needs to be about this Gravitic Flux from Alex. Can they probably won't get kills right directly off of it because the sound barrier is offline for Aspera, but can Indignation use this to set up their next engage? Eden has this the Death Blossom, and that could be the fight winning all once the barrier is out.
Well, the Gravitic Flux gets used first, and 2 are dead already for Indignation. They didn't use the sound barrier there, it looks like, and they're able to keep this no problem for the side of Astra.
From the shadows.
Yeah, and really effortlessly. They're using very few ultimates, but the good thing about it is any in that next fight. So now the Flux is something they don't have to worry about. That may have been an intentional choice there from the side of Indignation, because they know they have a little time to play with. Yeah, now Cloud can engage with the sound barrier, and that's a lot of extra shield that allows Indignation to just walk right up to them.
They can use the Gravitic Flux to get out the sound barrier too on the other side. Death Blossom coming in first, and Sucrax is dead! So being aggressive, paying off for Astra, and they have an advantage early on, getting that Moira out. That's basically a lost fight if you lose your Moira. So much healing gone.
That's right, now Indignation have to back up as far as they can, not lose anyone else. So this decision might end up putting them 5%. By the time Indignation get in there, but Rayon got taken out.
Rayan did get taken out, but that's okay. Rayan's back in the fight, or is going to be back into the fight in time. They do have to give up a little bit of space, so this is a fight that's probably going to end up happening on the point as a result. Coalescence thrown in here first. Gravitic Flux coming out. Sound barrier keeping everybody alive. Answering sound barrier comes through for the side of Indignation. Shade, the first one down. Needs to be a big Meteor Strike coming through, but no halt to help combo it for the side of Tap. And now it's looking so good for Indignation to keep this one alive.
Oh no, overtime running out. Alt finding no success. Indignation don't have legs to stand on here. Only Tap is left on the point, but what can one lone Doomfist do here?
Wrecking Ball coming back in on Shade, quickly taken down, and keeping themselves alive is Astra as we move to 3-2 in favor of Indignation still, but to keep this going by Astra is awesome.
Astra bringing it back from the brink, 99% on round 2. Managed to flip the script here onto Indignation, and now made the series that much closer. So now Indignation probably, very winnable position they were in, and they just managed to lose it.
Talk about a confidence booster too, B, when you look at the fact that they're able to beat Indignation at was, quote unquote, their own game. We were just saying that we have, from what we had seen up until this point, we thought that the team that had run the Doomfist and the Reaper better had been Indignation. This map at Astra was clearly the better team there on 2 of those 3 maps.
Yeah, again, Tap really seemed silent for the most part, getting caught out a lot and countered really well by Chico. And that is such a big impact there. And this is what I'm talking about. Doomfist being a very important hero in this meta.
The one thing, though, we go to hybrid next. It is the pick of Indignation. So the one good thing about having 3 maps already won, even when you lose, you now get to choose the map that you get to go to. Their choice is going to be Eichenwald. So that is where we go to next. And you think about it, it's a map we haven't really seen a whole lot of as of late.
No, not really. Out of the map pool in a lot of tournaments. Even nobody. I haven't seen anyone here in this tournament pick it either. Though I haven't seen all the games. It's been a little bit. I think it's fair to say.
It has been. It's been really good up until this point. It looks like we might be switching to what team is defending. And yep, so it will be at Astra, will be our team defending first. And then Indignation will be attacking first on the map of Eichenwald. So not still match point for Indignation. One thing to point out, still have to win another map to keep this going if you're at Astra.
Yeah, that's right. You got to force it to the map 7 there. But man, wouldn't that be something at Astra wanting to go back to the grand finals? That just managing to, well, not quite reverse sweep, but it would be something.
Without a doubt, going to be loading here in just a second to this map, the 6th map that we have gone to now between these two teams. I mean, one thing to remember, this was a 3-2 victory the last time these two teams saw each other in this tournament. That was way back in the second round of the tournament too. So you give Indignation credit because this has been a long run through the lower bracket to get to this point.
Yeah, it really has been. And honestly, they won't have much of a break. Even if they do end up winning, they're going to face the well-rested Ex Oblivione. So they definitely have their work cut out for them no matter how this turns out.
Well, the good thing is they'll be warm. That's for sure.
Yeah, good point.
They're not going to have to worry about warming up. They'll be plenty warm after this game for the finals, regardless of who gets in, whether it's at Astra or Indignation. If it's at Astra, that means we also play an extra map, so they'll have themselves a very long day for at Astra. If they end up winning this one and going on, that means they'll have had 3 games in a row that they're going to be playing and 3 best of 7. So lots of time in the best of 7s for them if they're able to pull this one out. But Eichenwald is where Indignation wants to draw the line in the sand and say, we are a better team than what we were when you saw us in that best of 5, excuse me.
Yeah, that's right. So now we basically have the 3-2 scoreline that the last game ended in, but it's yet the losers finals. You got to take it to 4, and this might be what ends up playing out in that Aspera's favor, and it's definitely what they're hoping to get done here, because even though Eichenwald probably likely to see the Doom Reaper, Doomfara works here, Bastion works here. Remember Bastion?
I do remember Bastion.
Great.
It doesn't mean I want to remember Bastion, but I remember
understandable,
Bastion.
but you do.
This is the Bastion. This is a Bastion map too, technically, if you think about it.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. But still, so far no Bastion. Defensively, we're seeing something a little bit different defensively here. Leno is going to be on the McCree, and we have Aspera as well from the side of Ad Astra. So maybe expecting Tap to be on this Farah, it looks like.
Yeah, Leno really loves this McCree, so running this McCree Farah, for the most part, he's actually been rather unencumbered, having no issues here, but I want to know if that's going to be the same thing this time around. Maybe this is where Ad Astra, or rather Indignation, manages to shut him down.
Chico getting up into that sky. We'll see that battle resume between these two. Ooh, Cloud really low. Able to avoid the rockets, though, and stay alive. Oh, the Decretion knocked the Mercy out of the sky there for the moment. Was pretty impressive from Alex, yeah, it was Alex who did that, but regardless, neither team with an advantage here early on. Tap just still trying to find, poking and prodding his way with those rockets around that tower in the middle, and nothing yet. Leno repositioning has allowed for Aiden to get one down, and Chico, or Eden lost his life. Sorry, Chico ended up going down, so no Farah in the sky for the side of Ad Astra. Could be what spells disaster. Both teams able to get their reses off, though.
Yeah, now Chico is back in the battle here. No, I actually think he might have naturally respawned, but he died in a place that was too hard to res. So now, Tap still for a little bit longer is freeing this guy's all, but as I say it, Chico is back.
Tap coming through, trying to get off with that barrage maybe here, getting close to it. Eden is res back in by Cloud, so there is a little bit of an advantage, it looks like, for the side of the attacking team. But Line is going to throw out that nano boost on to Ryan, and kind of just holding back here for a moment is Indignation to regroup.
Trying to wait out the nano boost, it looks like now. Indignation and Rocket Barrage really close to being up, but Tap dies. Going to use it.
And we know that the res isn't available, so they're going to be down in this fight regardless for the side of Indignation. Meteor Strike coming through, manages to find one, and they're still turning it around even though they've lost one. Big anti-nade for Lina, but there's not enough to follow through and help finish them off. So this point will go to Indignation, and they will start moving this card.
Yeah, 2 minutes off the clock, but still not a bad start. Now, I want to see if Astra are going to keep this McCree, probably just to contest Tap on the Pharah. Very likely that he would swap off otherwise, maybe because he wants to use the High Noon. But that's going to be hard to get value off of with all the shields we're seeing.
High Noon is always such a difficult thing to get value off of. You can deal a lot of damage with it if you're allowed to let it amp up the entire way. That's something they could potentially do as well. We'll see how he decides to use his Deadeye regardless when his opportunity arises. Tap trying to get onto that high ground area. Chico out of the sky, thanks to the coalescence, gives advantage over to Indignation again to keep this cart rolling. Alex has to be careful, he's getting really low. And now the barrage comes out, and this cart will continue to move. They're cruising along here now for Indignation.
Yeah, but really aggressive hold from ANJ. Probably wants to just stall the cart for as much as possible. And I think he's gonna make the swap to the Lucio, get back to point faster since Chico's abandoned the Pharah and is now on to the Doomfist.
You still have Eden, who's on the Doomfist, though, for the side of Indignation and a Deadeye. That's one good use of it. Get the Pharah out of the sky, no problem. No chance to res it, and this is where you want to win a team fight if you're the side of Astra, right where that bridge is.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be really difficult for Indignation to get through it, and get through it they will not. So back to spawn they go. Now, at this point, I think they're going to make the swaps. Yeah, you can't keep that far going any longer after you use the ultimate. So now it's back to do or something Indignation are very familiar, and especially against Lanu on the McCree, I can't see Astra actually weathering this storm very well.
You have to wonder if Leno's going to stay on this, though. Leno, it's kind of a disadvantage when you have that Doomfist that's going to be able to really take you out very easily because you're very immobile on McCree. They do have that ult advantage, though, with the Coalescence, at least for the moment, to keep players away, keep kiting them back, at least for now. But now you can just let your cooldowns come back, and you got out of ult for free if you're Indignation, and now they can push right back in. Ults are a little bit more even. Gravitic Flux, though, is through. Cloud getting low, and then Sucrax is going to fall. They still lose this fight anyways for the side of Indignation, but the ults that they're getting out, they're actually now turning it around.
Oh my goodness, that's right. Indignation managed to stay alive. Tap. Absolutely nuts. The only one left really is Rayan. No?
Not quite going to be enough. They did lose both of their supports. So even though they're in this fight still and recontesting, they're gaining space, but they couldn't win it outright thanks to the fact that they didn't have their supports back yet. But now their supports are back, and they can keep this cart going across that bridge.
Again, Brand being alive is actually really huge. Allows Aspera to take a very early approach, but now Eden's getting really low there. Out comes the Deadeye.
Not going to get anything, but the Meteor Strike will. Chico coming back in, trying to keep himself alive. Leno gets taken down. The Gravitic Flux, pretty big, but the Sound Barrier there to keep everybody alive on the side of Astra. And they are now finally winning this extended fight.
Right now, the card's stuck right at the bridge there. Indignation have another chance here in life. Probably going to... Actually, and the only thing they really have to show for is the Sound Barrier. Potentially 2 DPS ults as well, unless this Sigma ult from Astra is absolutely ginormous. Indignation should still have a chance to get through the second point here.
The one good thing for the side of Indignation is they have the sound barrier for it, immediately committed to make sure everybody stays alive through the Gravitic Flux. So those two alts cancel each other out, but now it's Coalescence's turn, and Tap punching his way through. Doesn't get the kill just yet, but Chico goes down to the Death Blossom, and the advantage to Indignation again. Tap doing enough work, even if he doesn't get the final blows at the start. He put so much damage in with the Doomfist that now the cart can roll through.
There it is. It took everything they had, but Indignation are going to make it through here to this last point. Alex 2704 is going to come up to that flux probably before the sound barrier comes up from Astra. If they're tracking, if they know that, it would be a really good opportunity for Indignation to keep the cart moving even forward, keep their momentum going.
Well, they're trying to kite away, but they can't get everybody away thanks to the accretion. And this is going to be a fight one off of one ultimate for this. Well, two ultimates, actually. The Supercharger did go down. So you do get out those two ults if you're the side of Indignation here for this final push.
And luckily, Indignation still have the opportunity I spoke of. Alex, very close to that Gravitic Flux. He has to use it as soon as he gets it, and that might prevent Astra from actually mounting any sort of defense, because they would immediately be on the back foot.
It's the only ult that they're really close to other than Supercharger for the side of Indignation. For Astra, they are getting close to a Meteor Strike of their own, and Sound Barrier starting to get there, but will it be in time for Alex's Gravitic Flux is the question. Meteor Strike gonna get used first. Alex dies! He doesn't even get a chance to use it! Perfect for the side of Astra, but still, the DPS still doing work for Indignation, trying to keep them in this Meteor Strike through. Rocket Punch into Ray, who's trying to keep himself alive. Tap so low, kept up by his Moira. There's still an opportunity. Indignation gonna get this cart rolling again. Allow for Alex to come back.
Still, very few, no support ults online for Indignation except the sound barrier. This next fight is going to be really hard. Indignation get aggressive, pick off whoever they can. They can't let Astra get an even fight here.
Well, out will come the Gravitic Flux first from Rayan, but the Death Blossom from Eden is huge. 2 dead already. He goes down, but he did the work needed, and Tap is finishing everything off. They complete this with 0 seconds on the clock. It didn't proc overtime. They get another time bank because of that.
Really? I thought I saw overtime get proc, because if it's not, that's actually...
I didn't see the overtime meter come across. It might have, but I didn't see it.
Okay, because if it doesn't, that's actually really big for Indignation. They would attack round if we were to go to time bank, but still, even finishing puts them in a good position. If they can hold Astra at any point here on Eichenwald, that's going to be it. They are going to be the winners, and the grand finals, I should say.
Yeah, they will head to the grand finals if they can win this. Of course, regardless of that, there's still going to be this attack coming out from Astra. They finish with time. They're in a great spot. That's the important thing right now for Astra. Finish with time. If the overtime went through, then if it's over a minute, there's no attack that comes through for Indignation.
That's right. So now we're going to see if anything changes here comp-wise. Maybe either team wants to try anything weird. I have absolutely no trust for Astra there in the attacking spawn, but in defense, we have the Pharah Doomfist here. Suprax, interestingly, opts for the Ana. Might be in case there's a Pharah from Astra and wants to be able to put a little damage into them, but it's hard to say.
I think they're just kind of debating on how they want to go about this, but we know the Pharah's on the other side, so you maybe do this to deal with the Pharah in tap?
Yeah. Yeah.
That looks to be the case.
I was preferring Indignation just starting off with the Ana. They might have been expecting the Pharah, but it seems like that isn't going to be the case. We have a pause. That's what we have. Or we had it. Looks like it's over.
It was a very quick pause. Not sure what it was, but that's okay. Oh, Leno getting hit with one of those direct rockets brings him very low. Tap getting pulled in accretion. He's able to stay alive barely.
Oh my goodness.
That's so big that he's able to stay up through that. And now you have Eden who's able to go to work on his Doomfist. Tap does finally get eliminated out, but the res will keep them above in this one for the side of Indignation, and Astra is just going to back up.
Huge plays all around. All that healing going into Tap, making sure he doesn't go down, and getting the Doomfist off their huge play from Eden. So now in this next fight, Coalescence is out.
Diana being out, all the healing gone except for the Mercy. Punching his way through is Chico, and they're going to get this pretty quickly, it looks like, for the side of Astra.
And that's the problem there with the Ana. It's a lot harder to avoid the Doomfist unless you land that sleep every single time. So in doing so, now we see Sukratz abandons the ult charge, goes for the Moira because he knows it's the better play. And now, point captured, 5 minutes left in the time bank. Not a bad start here for Astra. They're probably feeling pretty good about that.
I will not waste.
No doubt they have a 5-minute time bank to push through this Streets phase to get onto that final phase of Eichenwald. They've got some ultimates to work with as well. We've seen Leno get a lot of value out of his Deadeye to take Tap out of the sky a couple of times with it, see if he can do it again or how he'll decide to end up using it. Oh, headshot onto Tap, but he's able to avoid at least for the moment. Tries to get away, but he gets stunned out by the Accretion Rock, and he's dead. He does get res back in though, and Leno ends up getting taken advantage of because of it. Ran on the high ground, trying to deal out some damage, coming through his Eden, uppercutting this player into the sky, who's on the Doomfist and Chico. They stun each other out, and then Chico dies because there's nobody left for his team.
And I gotta say, that was really well played from Indignation. Wanted to get that Resurrect on the Tap, so they immediately get aggressive and use the Sigma to keep Cloud covered for the Resurrection. And getting Tapped in the fight that early means they got to keep this aggressive position by winning the fight. So now, Tap, looking for that Rocket Barrage. I don't even know he's there. Oh, there it is, the hold.
He got pulled up into the sky for that one. Or the barrier got put up into the sky for that one, so it was easy to take him out. They were ready for it. And now his team has to try and hold on by the back of Eden, who manages to get Chico out, but Shade is gone, so you've lost that main tank for this team, and they're starting to lose the rest of their players as well.
And unfortunately, it looked like it was the start of a comeback there. Case at all Tap, and Eden making the swaps again. Back to just a bread and butter Doom Reaper composition, but here's the problem with Bosco. Again, when they make swaps like these, later in the game, they lose a lot of ult charge. They lose the tempo because that Astra has 4 ult Indignation. Really, they don't have anything to work with.
Yeah, you're trading out 2 spots where you had ult economy to do that. The Accretion Rock, just missing Ray in there. But regardless, his team's still pushing across that bridge, have the Supercharger and the Gravitic Flux to throw in. Goodbye, Alex. Supercharger doesn't even matter, and they're going to be able to push their way through this. No problem for Astra.
And like I said, getting slapped with their wallets, Indignation lose the second point as well. So now, Astra are going to have a pretty good time bank here going into the last point in Eichenwald. But now, a lot of ults being used means Indignation can finally start to hopefully mount some sort of defense here. Some sort of comeback.
That's the hope for the side of Indignation, that they can stall this out at least somewhere on this third point. Lina has to be careful, fades away to stay alive. Deadeye coming out, not really going to find anything though for Leno. Throws that flashbang to try and get the Reaper and Eden. Does it work out? Coalescence now around the corner. Ooh, he was ready for it. Leno was for the Reaper and Eden to come around. Doesn't get the headshot onto him, though, is the only problem. A&J with the sound barrier available. No ultimates up yet on the side of Indignation. They're starting to get close, but they're losing numbers is the problem. Accretion will stun the McCree at least for the moment, but Astra still forcing their way forward with no issue.
And it's really nothing to be done here, it looks like, for Indignation. Going down there, can't find any value. Eden not getting picks off on the flank, going a little bit too wide there, allowing it Astra to get more damage into Indignation. This is the last fight. Indignation can't allow any time to be gained there. This is really difficult for them.
Oh, but they're winning the fight for Indignation. They get 2 picks early on. Both of the DPS are out, and now you just have players trying to get away. Rayan's not going to be able to do that at all, and nobody else is going to be able to get caught. But 2.5 minutes here still available for the side of Astra to push through.
It's still a lot of time on the clock, and the time to keep mention of everybody is 1 minute. If Astra cap with more than 1 minute on the clock, Indignation will likely no longer be able to win this map here. It's just going to be lose or draw for them, so they gotta at least shave some time off the clock here.
Meteor Strike coming out from Tap. The Hulk brings a bunch of them in. Sound Barrier keeping everybody alive, though, and Tap dies instead. Perfect for the side of Astra. Now they just got to get onto that cart and push it the rest of the way.
Yeah, we're going to have one last second contest here from...
Last second, but it doesn't last very long, as now you have the players starting to come back in. Death Blossom does get two for Eden, though. If he stays alive, the respawners are starting to come back in. Have to be careful here still. If you're at Astra, you need to be able to win this fight. Coalescence committed in on either side to keep this going. And now they're going to back out. They have to back out for Astra.
This is actually unbelievably clutch there from Eden. Saved his team from literally the brink of no longer being able to win this match. Shade now back on the Reinhardt. A bit of an awkward situation for him to be in, but he's gonna have to make do. Edit on the May. Oh, his DPS counterpart taken down.
Cap is down, Shade is out as well. Their players are falling. 10 seconds left to go. They've got to try and stall this out for as long as possible. 6 seconds left to stall to give themselves an opportunity, perhaps. At 2 seconds, the cart is going to be able to be held, so they're going to get another chance to attack at the very least for the side of Indignation. Players still staying alive, though, for Astra, and they finally are going to be able to get this completed. It looks like, well, no, the staller's still coming through.
Yeah, they're still in this fight here.
There it
only
goes.
one left up. Ooh. Wow. Clutch defense there for the side of Indignation. Even though they couldn't hold fully what end, they got what they needed. They gave themselves another attack round here on Eichenwald. So they still have the potential of winning this map and this series.
Similar to our last map beat, if you look at how the first point defenses went, defensively Astra looked better than Indignation. Indignation lost almost immediately. So they are going to be attacking here first for Indignation, so they get to try and set the pace. But the one thing to point out is, again, they had a little bit of trouble pushing through and taking that first point. And we're seeing them change what they're going to do. They went with the Pharah on attack last time. Now they're going to go with the May. I don't expect that to change. No surprise because of how well they did defensively last time at Astra. Staying the same, except line is not on the Ana.
I think by part of this May swap is likely they expect that Astra to actually run a Bastion on their defense. Or at least that's my thought process there, because the May Reaper is the best way to approach a Bastion aside from running a Bastion of your own. So I think that's what they're expecting, since Astra really do like to run the Bastion in a lot of different situations.
The May does give you a lot of utility, though, too. But again, Tap can always switch it out, so we'll see what they end up doing if they scout this out, if they make a change.
Yeah, well, now spawn doors open, Indignation come out. They have a very short amount of time to make any sort of decision. Actually, not sending a scout probably means this is what they're sticking to no matter what. But against the Pharah, it is going to make it very difficult. So they have to win this ground war immediately.
They've been using that Sigma barrier to throw it in the sky. Tap dead immediately. Gets two tapped by Chico, and now you're down one. You are in almost last fight territory as well. They've got to decide what they're going to do for Indignation. If they stay pushing forward, they might lose this fight right here and lose the game.
You know, now the members of Indignation dying so late here, they really do only have one last chance. It's not going to be a full engage too. I'm expecting stall characters to come out immediately. This is so detrimental to Indignation. It's going to take an otherworldly amount of plus to be able to take this.
Tap dead already. You have the Wrecking Ball on the point to stall for as long as possible, but Leno on the Doomfist, working out really well so far. Eden does get Chico out of the sky, but everybody around him is dying is the only problem. There's no way that they're going to be able to stall this out any longer for the side of Indignation. We have this map now, a opportunity to win 33% for Astra to force us to a Game 7.
This amazing comeback here from Astra to be able to put themselves in this position. If they can actually get this tick and win this map, that would be a great position for them to be in. Suddenly, taking us to the map some delay since our fourth map.
By the way, a draw is possible here too.
That's true.
And this, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a first to 4. This is not a best of 7. So
that's right.
even if you draw this map, means we might have 8 maps. That's always possible.
That's right. Indignation would still be at the advantage here. They would still be one map away from winning. And yeah, potentially an 8th map.
We'll see what ends up happening here, though. Indignation defensively, we're seeing they're going with the Pharah. They're not going with the Ana this time. Sucrax is on the Moira this time, and they are going to keep Eden on the Doomfist.
Yeah, I think the Farah Doom has given them some success, and this way I think Indignation have the ability to deal with anything at Astra might try to throw at them. So now, 141, 33%. I want to see what Ad Astra are going to do. I don't believe this double sniper is real, but Labosco, this double sniper is real.
For a second, they were just looking for an opportunity to shoot at the Pharah in the sky and tap. That's all. Now we go back to mere compositions on either side, and that's what we'll have here for 1 minute and 22 seconds. So a little bit of time spent scouting to do that. Oh, and Tap's dead already. They got Tap down. They're trying to force their way forward to not allow the res. Eden is dead too. Pushing in. We're going to have to see if they can hold on to this at all. It doesn't look like it's going to happen for Indignation. They're forced back 33%. Map 7, here we come.
Amazing comeback here from Ad Astra to put themselves in the position to be able to actually win this round. And that first fight, wow, getting that pick on the Tap, who seems to have been feeling a bit lately. Just in the last map or so with his engagement timing. You see him on the Doomfist end up life very early, and upon that happening, it becomes very difficult for the team to make some sort of comeback, especially on defense where you're may have come res.
Without a doubt, it's super difficult to do that. Map choice for our final map does go over to Indignation, though. So they do get to choose here for our final map where we are going. And as far as the escort maps have gone, it has been a little bit better. It felt like, well, or we'll see where we're going first. We'll see what they have decided.
Well, still, I think most escort does favor the Bastion comp, so this really does seem like Ad Astra are gonna finish this comeback and win this one out if that is the case, because they have shown that more wow, what is the word? Proficiency.
Right. So we'll see where our final map is. We've made it though. We've made it all the way to map 7.
Yeah.
So just like their matchup earlier on in this tournament, it went the distance. It's going the distance here again, Beat. These two teams are so evenly matched. It's so fun to watch.
It really is. I can't wait to see how this is going to turn out, what these teams are going to throw at each other. And oh, we were mistaken. The next game mode's actually Assault, and Volskaya Industries is the pick.
And Assault has been very kind to Indignation. So when you talk about a map 7, this is it. I think that you're okay with maybe going to an Assault map type.
Yeah, just maybe. But again, they lost their previous 2 map picks, actually. So haven't exactly had much success on maps of their choice so far. So hopefully they're going to be able to turn it around this time and actually manage to finish off the series, deny that what is basically a reverse sweep.
Well, their best map that we've seen so far was Temple of Anubis, though. So
It's true.
if you're to say that you give them an advantage on a map type, this is probably the one that you would do it. Of course, their first map of choice is Temple of Anubis. We haven't really seen them play too much Volskaya Industries. So we'll see how this ends up going for them. But the fact that you forced it to map 7, if you're at Astra and you've been down, you were down 3-1 at one point, and to be able to bring this all the way back is so impressive.
It is. So now we're going to see whether or not they can go all the way or get knocked out of this tournament and basically take third.
For Ad Astra, though, as far as Volskaya Industries is concerned, I mean, this allows you to do some of the things that you maybe want to do. You can play Bastion here if that's something you'd like.
Yeah.
It's not bad for Pharah as well. And the Pharah had looked pretty good for them there on that last map. So we now are to map 7. A lot of pressure on both of these teams, but pressure creates diamonds. That's one thing that you know.
That's true.
So one of these teams is going to come out and have a chance to go to the grand finals because of it. The loser is going to end up going home with third place. One thing to remember too, though, Beat, because this is Assault, we do always have that third option.
Ah, that's right. We could have a draw and go to the ever elusive 8th map.
Now, if that happens, that they must have something against us and they want to see me lose my voice would be my guess.
That's got to be it. They're definitely whispering. You can't see it here, but they're whispering about
Making this a wild map 7 to go into a map 8 on a draw.
That's right.
It's
Maybe
possible.
even a map 9.
I don't know about that one.
You can tie escort. It's possible.
That's asking a lot. That is a lot.
I am not asking for it. I am just saying it's possible.
That is, it's about as possible as it is of you winning $1 billion right now.
Yeah.
So
I think that is a fair assessment.
So more than likely not going to happen, unfortunately. I'm sorry to tell you that, Beat. You're probably not going to win $1 billion. My bad. I hate to break it to you that way.
You don't know.
Well, let's take a look at what these teams are doing. We can see here, Lido back on that McCree that he's been super effective on.
Yeah, at this point, there's no point in questioning it. He's found so much value out of it, partially due to finding playing into it, but still now, May Reaper, again, probably expecting the Bastion, are going to be making their way around a point. Oh my god.
This is a lost fight! It doesn't matter! It doesn't matter for the side of Astra. You lost your Moira. You have basically no hope of winning this fight. You've lost so much healing on that side. Indignation can take this point for free, basically.
Not even basically, quite literally. That is as close to $1 billion as anybody today. Lena just taking themselves up for whatever reason. Now allowed for a 6-minute time bank for the side of Indignation here.
Huge loss at the beginning allows for potentially the snowball to come through for the side of Indignation. They're looking for their opportunity to push onto that point. They have their coalescence that they're going to pop here and use it to start. Have the Maywall go up for a second, block a little bit of that damage, keep everybody alive. Wraith form used by the Reaper on the side of Astra. So you get out some of those cooldowns. Have players close. Oh, coming through is Chico to get Sucrax. And now Chico looking for another one. Leno getting shade down as well. Looks like this is a dead push for the side of Indignation.
Yeah, that's right. No ultimate charge, to be fair, with such a very quickly won fight. So it'd be really hard with the May Reaper to win a dry May Doomfist. I'd be really surprised if Indignation stick to this, but it does seem like that is what they want to do. 60% on the Blizzard is probably what is tempting Tap there. Does it stay on the roll?
So the Doomfist, what we get now, definitely probably a better choice.
No,
he was staying on it. He waited a while to do it though, so he baited you. He baited you.
He did. Okay, I don't appreciate it, Tap, but you made the right decision. So now Reaper Doom into Reaper Doom. This is what you want to do. Indignation.
Backing away from the Coalescence, trying to make it as ineffective as possible. They did a pretty good job. Chico had to use his Meteor Strike defensively, so that's 2 ultimates they just pulled out from Astra for free, and now they can come back. Gravitic Flux by both of these teams. Sound Barrier available for both of them. Later, Sound Barrier used by Cloud, and his team gets the advantage because of it. Leno just trying to destroy those barriers in his way. Eden! Death Blossom is huge! Coalescence combining as well. They cleared this point with no problem. They're still going to have a big time bank, it looks like. The stall coming back in just a second. He can't get on, though. He got halted away. Oh, exactly 4 minutes available for Indignation in their next attack.
Now, that is a time bank that Indignation can be proud of. Off the back of an unfortunate self-destruct off the side there from Lena. Now, we're going into the second round here. Astra definitely have quite a time bank to beat or match if they want a chance going to time bank rounds. Or hey, maybe Indignation go for the hold. Who knows? That could have been the mental boom that just ends Astra's run right here.
The most unfortunate thing for Astra is it all started with Lina falling off the map. It didn't show that there was anything done by Indignation to cause that, but sometimes there's a bug that does that. We didn't see it on screen either, so we don't know how Lina fell off, but that was what was really the domino that really caused all of this to happen. 4-minute time bank. Ad Astra has their work cut out for them. Defensively, we're seeing Reaper and May again for the side of Indignation.
Again, makes sense. Probably. Indignation. May Reaper on the defense is rather interesting. Maybe again, expecting the Bastion, or because there are a lot of right chokes here, areas where it's easy to wall people off. That's probably why Tap sees the value here. But it is going to have to get a lot of value on these walls if they want to overcome the Reaper Doomfist comp we're seeing from Ad Astra.
It's such a strong composition. It just is. And we're going to see it again from Ad Astra. Doors about to open for them on this, what could be their final attack here on map number 7. A big time bank that they're competing against, that they've got to try and do as well with. Any holds that happen for Indignation spell really well for them. The ice wall does block off a few players, but they're able to split up nicely and now try and get back together. So this works out so far. And now you have Eden going around to try and meet them on that high ground. Being careful, though, to not die himself. Wraith forms away. And now you'll have Indignation drop off of the high ground. Use that May wall. Doesn't quite get anybody out in front. Does put a couple players above it, though. And cuts off a little bit of the healing. And goodbye, Lino. Good start for Indignation. But Cloud is down, too. Back and forth. And now another one for Chico. Chico being the hero right now for this side of Ad Astra. Trying to keep his team alive on this first point and win it outright. Coalescence coming through, though, to keep the players alive for the side of Ad Astra. Rayan getting Eden down as well. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't clean, but they win the point is the most important part.
That's right, and too bad Tap and Eden made the right call focusing Linu there, but Chico had something to say about it and manages to get 2 really nice early picks. So now, not a bad time bank still. I think we're looking at about just over 5 minutes left here for Ad Astra. They have a lot to work with here.
They can potentially have a larger time bank if they can win on this first attack.
True.
They're not to any ultimates yet that can really push them over the edge. They do have the sound barrier, though. Gravitic Flux is up for Alex on the other side, so those two will more than likely cancel each other out. Gravitic Flux use sound barrier to counter it. But now you have advantage with some of the ults that are potentially coming up for the side of Indignation if they can build up to them in this fight. Lino focusing on that. Arisa so close. Chico will finish them off. Meteor Strike coming through, looking for an opportunity to drop onto the high ground onto Tap. Can't quite get to him. Eden coming through with the Death Blossom. Counter Death Blossom is better from Lino. And now you have the Supercharger thrown in here and the Gravitic Flux looking so good for the side of Ad Astra. Sound barrier committed to stall for as long as possible. Players coming back as quickly as they can for Indignation, but it's looking so good for the side of Ad Astra.
And Astra really having no problems here, and with the fall of Tap, the rest should fall like dominoes. Indignation very likely going to have the smaller time bank here, considering how that's really surprising.
They're stalling for as long as they possibly can, though. That's the important thing. See that they're waiting for 2 ticks to come. Get as many players back. Contesting now once again. Tap is dead, but it's about to be even as far as the time banks are considered. 3 seconds, 2. They get back on and stall for another second. Can anybody get back on? The time bank will be slightly larger for the side of Indignation, so we're going to watch Ad Astra attack twice in a row.
I'm sure that's called for a little celebration there from Indignation. End up having the technically larger time bank, but now we are going into overtime rounds here, where, man, these teams, as even as it can get Labosco, map 7, overtime rounds, same amount of time back. I'm feeling 6 CP coming on.
6 CP, which is such a rare thing now when you consider the fact that you don't get as large of a time bank after you capture both points or capture that first point, so yeah, it's possible for sure. We'll see how these teams adjust, though, to what they saw from each other on attack and defense. Looking for the side of Indignation defensively, they're going with the Reaper and the Doomfist. They're going to meet with the same composition from the side of Ad Astra.
Yeah, I think they believe that the May Reaper no longer works best on defense. They need Tap on the Doomfist, and they need a Doomfist in general, because again, you gotta check Chico. He can't be allowed to go in and out as he please. It's just too much for the team of Indignation to deal with.
This is the real test, it feels like. You know, them both on the same composition finally again. It's been actually pretty even when we've seen them play both of these compositions from the start.
And that's right. And again, it all comes back to, like you said, the fundamental composition. Whoever played this the best is going to be the one who wins. It goes to the grand final. Metacomp versus Metacomp.
Starting off, coming around to that right side, a change of how they are attacking this first point coming out from Astra. Going through that high ground there. A couple players did get pulled off, it looks like, so now they have to drop back down, but that's okay. They can come around and still get to that high ground area they were trying to get to.
Yeah, so far, just a nice little wraparound there from Astra. Didn't lose anyone in the good, but the high ground position not going to do as much for them now. They're in the mega health pack though, which might be more ideal for them though. Still got to watch the Doomfist punch.
Have to be careful. Oh, and Chico's able to get through and get onto Sucrox. So that's already a massive loss for the side of Indignation. They have taken a little bit of time to do this. Is the good thing for Indignation. They have been able to kill off a little bit of time off of that clock, but they are losing this first point with no issues.
Only 30 seconds going to be gained here for Astra, but still Indignation not the best hold. Still a decent amount of time for them to have to be able to get this hold on second.
So they'll have about 3 minutes once this completely completes through, and they now push on to this final point. Ultimate-wise, both teams are pretty dry right now, but you do have a couple ultimates coming online for Indignation, so a slight advantage maybe to them, as Tap will be the first one to get one in Meteor Strike when he will use it. And now you'll also get the Gravitic Flux. Sound Barrier coming on just in time to keep that from doing any damage. Chico looking now for the Meteor Strike opportunity. Nothing there. It has to back away. They're using that Coalescence and not getting much value out of it. Tried to come through and get Tap, but Tap able to stay alive through his Meteor Strike. Ultimates right now back and forth. No advantage yet till Tap is able to rocket punch through Chico. And now Sucrax healing in front to keep everybody alive, getting close to another ultimate as well. And Indignation will finally stabilize on the second point.
This is a really good start for them. Indignation now built up some good ults in the bank too. So now we're looking at 2 minutes left, and whoa, Eden getting real deep there, buddy. No, he ends up backing off. But yeah, huge pick from Tap. This is more of what he's got to be doing. Watching Chico and getting these picks while doing so. Because that one punch potential is just too strong here in this meta.
Extremely powerful thing if you can get those punches to land, which is exactly what we've seen win 2 fights for either side. So, see how it goes here. Death Blossom is first, and then the Coalescence on top of it wins this fight for Astra. Huge combo.
Yeah, that's going to be it. There, don't think there's any way the Indignation are going to come back and hold here. So now the point is going to be captured. Nope.
They get back on. They get the sound barrier off too, so they do spill out for a little bit longer. Use the Diva to get back on quickly as well. The Reaper's back into Eden, and now you have the Gravitic Flux. Missing it though. Eden staying alive. Couple players still up for the moment to at least stall out for as long as possible to get maybe another 15 seconds off the clock there. 1:11 is the time bank available to add Astra after their attack. So decent for that potentially third round if we get to it. It all depends on the attack here for Indignation.
That's right. If Indignation can finish it, we are really gonna get this. I mean, I was joking. I'm here for it. Let's do it.
They have to cap. That's the important thing first off. So
4 minutes. 4 minutes is a long time, Labasco. I think the way Indignation's been playing in general, these teams just seem like all offense, no defense. Like Astra flies their way through, but on defense, can't really seem to hold it together. Though, to be fair, this is going to be their first real point A defense because hopefully Lina will not jump off the side.
Lina just wanted to make it interesting. That's all.
Oh, that would be... Oof. Yeah, you're right. Just wanted to make it seem close, more exciting, you know?
Exciting it has been.
Yeah, without a doubt.
My voice definitely knows it's been exciting. So I would say it's been that. Volskaya, pretty map too. We get a look here. We're seeing defensively, it's gonna be Reaper and Doomfist again. Not very standard from Astra.
Yeah, that's right. Again, Metacomp, as we see it. I think Eden is just going for the scout here.
Looks
I don't
like
know
it,
if the
yeah.
Sombra is gonna actually stay.
Yep, switching over to the Doom or the Reaper already, so you are correct.
Yeah,
Your
just
composition.
just making sure, you know, no Bastion weirdness or anything like that. Because if they run into that with Doom Reaper, that's very likely not going to work out for them. So now they're going to make this rotation around the right, and it's really going to be about positioning. They need to force at Astra back as far as they can and take space without losing anybody.
So they now will have the low ground positioning for the side of Ad Astra. Coming in right now is Indignation. Eden has to Wraithform back though. Tries to be careful not to get spotted out. Tap getting players a little bit low, but nothing coming through as of yet. This is working out right now for Ad Astra. Anytime taken off the clock is good time taken.
Absolutely, and now Gold Coalescence is about to come online. It's all about who can get the most damage through them.
So far, both teams playing around this little room in the middle nicely, but Cloud gets caught out up in the air by A&J, and now you have to back up. If you're the side of Indignation, disastrous first push for them.
And that's right, there's still a decent amount of time left on the clock. They do have another chance here. No real ults. This next fight is going to be Drylabon. Again, we're going to be looking at the Reaper flank potentially, the Doomfist pick. Those are the two things that the teams really need to rely on. And use of the Hulk. Shade, you got to grab some people together. Oh no.
Cloud dead again early on, causing his team to have to retreat once again. They're not giving up a lot of ult charge, but losing that player takes time off the clock.
That it does, and now we're at 2 minutes. So much time, and not a single tick on point A has been captured. Now, though, some ults are online here. Sucrax actually way ahead on Coalescence ult card. This might be the advantage Indignation is looking for. They gotta get aggressive right now.
Well, Meteor Strike coming through first. Nothing there for Chico at the beginning, and Tap is dead early on, so advantage again going over to Ad Astra, and they continue to pile on with their advantage. Ad Astra in a prime position to win this and go to the grand finals. 1:35 left to go.
Man, Ad Astra's been doing such a good job at getting these picks in even fights. It's either taking a flank group with Lanu, Chico just getting a nice punch, especially that Meteor Strike there. Not enough healing available for the side of Indignation.
Throw out that orb just to get a little bit extra damage. Try and build up a little quicker to that Coalescence. Sucrax with the advantage again over Lina for it, but Lina's been getting a little bit more value as now you have the Gravitic Flux. It only catches one player in Alex, so that's a good thing for the side of Indignation, but they're still so far behind an ult advantage. It's the biggest problem. They're down to a minute. Their tournament lives on the line, and the Death Blossom from Lino finds 3.
Oh, no. This might spell the end for them. Lubasco only one fight left, but no support ults to use, and that's probably going to be their biggest detriment because Ad Astra has both of them. And this is going to be the last fight here, unless Eden and Alex come very huge with their upcoming ultimates, as well as Shade. I really can't see this. This might be it here for Indignation.
All comes down to one fight. Who will go to the grand finals between Indignation and Ad Astra? Ad Astra winning this fight means that they will be the ones to go. Get pulled into the Gravitic Flux. Sound barrier available. Eden looking for his opportunity to come in with Death Blossom. Gets spotted out. Has to go around. 10 seconds left to go. Coalescence takes Shade down. White Noise down as well. We're even 5v5. Rocket punching through is Tap. Coming through from behind is Eden with the Death Blossom. Needs to be the hero with this ultimate. Sees his opportunity. Comes in. Not too much damage through. He does get Lino down. Sucrax is down as well. Players trading back and forth. Overtime is proc. Have to stay on the point. Tap getting one. Rocket punches back and forth. And Tap. They're keeping themselves in it. They're going to be able to cap this. Just have to get the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, still Indignation. Wow, what a clutch fight coming. Needed that kill. Just barely gotten it with that Death Blossom. So now, still a rough position to be in. Indignation at 30 seconds going into this next fight. So much so that I don't even think, nope, Shade is actually going to go back for the swap, get taxied up. And again, Indignation's last fight. They have to use everything they have here. They cannot afford a single step.
They have the ultimate advantage. It's the one thing they do have going into this fight. But Coalescent! Cloud is down before he can use the sound barrier. Gravitic Flux comes through for free. Players still losing on either side, though. Meteor Strike by Tap takes one down. Has to be backing away. They're able to stay on. Cloud starting to come back. You just saw him there for a second. Advantage is over to Indignation. They're keeping themselves in this tournament. If they can get these last few kills left alive. Lino, one of the players, they're chasing them all down. Lino backing himself away. As Lucio falls as well. This is looking so good for Indignation to get this cap. Players are going to have to come back and try and stall here. This stall has to be big. 2 points already taken. Lino back onto the point. No ultimates available yet for Astra as their players start to come back in. They use that Gravitic Flux coming out for Indignation. Shade is down. They got off the point. It's going to be Astra going to the grand finals. The Gravitic Falls call them off.
Unbelievable. Pulling them off with the Gravitic Flux means Astra are the winners, 4-3. Another tight series between these teams, but once again, Astra top.
It was so close for these two teams. A deserved winner in Astra, going on to the grand finals to play the team that's waiting for them, that we know it's going to be another good matchup. They just played each other in the winners final, B.
Yeah, they did, and although it wasn't as close this time around, Astra seemed to have improved just a little bit throughout this series and even the end of their last one. So hopefully they have a better shot now against Ex Oblivione.
That's the big thing about going back against Ex Oblivione, is that you get to see them twice, so you know what they do. You know how to. You'll have a little bit of time here, not a whole lot, to try and talk through about how you want to attack them. But for Astra, I mean, way to fight back. They win 3 maps in a row to finally take this over Indignation. But we have to give a lot of credit here to Indignation, too. They take 3rd place in this Monkey Bubble European Invitational. They've done so well. You have to give a lot of credit to them. A very new team, too, that they are.
You do. This could have gone even slightly the other way, and Indignation would be your winners in the final. So I agree. Props to them for sure. I really am a little sad I don't get to see that Tap Sicko Doomfist matchup, but that's all right. This finals is still going to be a banger.
Well, speaking of that Tap and Chico matchup, we have Chico in here. So congrats on getting to the grand finals. That was such a fun game between you guys and Indignation. I don't know what it is about when you two teams play, but you guys just got to go the distance, it seems.
Yeah, these guys are they're so good. Honestly, I have to credit them. Tap is absolutely insane, and I think that's why it's always so close. Tap is doing so much work. They're all supporting him really well, and then whatever we're doing whatever we're doing, and it goes, yeah.
It seems like you guys grew too, because they at the start, they were getting some of the advantages in that base composition that has become so popular with the Reaper Doomfist. But as the games went along, it seemed like you guys really started to figure out how you wanted to counter what they were doing. What do you credit that most to, that your ability to adjust in that game?
I think overall we start to every time we lose a fight, someone says why we think we lost, and then over time we figure out the main causes of why we're losing, and then we start to work on those. And I think eventually we just completely adapt playstyle.
Go ahead, Beat.
So you guys were down 3-1. How did you keep yourselves in the game there? At that point, you were even so close to the 5th map. How do you keep yourselves in the game? How did you guys manage to keep the mental strong, prevent yourself from getting boomed?
Well, so we try and I think I was trying to tell jokes, basically keep the morale up, but we also I'm really proud of in general there was no real effort made, but people just kept positive. We just said, it's still winnable. We can still win. It's always winnable. And when you then win that next map, you're like, okay, it really is winnable, and then it just goes on and on.
And then you ride that momentum. I get you. So now you're going to the grand finals. You're facing the team that knocked you there in the first place. Ex Oblivion. How do you feel? You guys think you can win it this time?
Definitely. I think if you watched the series back where we played them first, the last 2 maps started to go our way. Yeah. And it's because we started to do that adaptation where we learn how to play against them. And I think definitely now we're coming into it a lot stronger.
We're definitely excited to watch you guys play against them, and good luck in that grand finals. This was just so much fun already. I can't wait to watch the grand finals between you and them and see how you guys continue to adapt. And we wish you the best going forward. It's been so much fun. A pleasure to cast you guys in this.
Thank you very much.
That's Chico from the victorious Ad Astra. My voice is still here for a little bit, Beat, but the good thing is we're going to have some new casters coming in for that grand finals. It's going to be a great final game to watch. Be sure to stick around for that. It's going to be here just, there's going to be a little bit of a break probably, but not too long, and we'll get that final game in for you. So be sure to stick around and watch the finals of this European Invitational. That's going to do it here for us. We'll see you next time for me and Beat.
This tournament was sponsored by Insights, a platform for gamers to learn and teach at the comfort of their own PC. Get your account today.